My cruel boss fired me while my mother's hospital bill was still open on my phone. 5 minutes later, a cheat system paid me $12,000 for refusing to crawl. At first, I thought it was a glitch, but the rule was simple. Every time I chose freedom and paid a real price, the system paid me back harder. That first reward saved my mother. The next rewards made me millions. And before this was over, the boss who fired me would watch me build a company right across from his and tear his whole empire apart. But it started with one sentence. Craig Hollis looked at my mother's overdue hospital portal and said, "Your family drama is not a Mavencast problem." I asked for 2 days. Craig slid a termination form across his desk. "Apologize for wasting my morning, finish Jade Marlowe's launch, then maybe I forget this tantrum." That was the whole test. Crawl for a job that barely paid rent, or choose Harborline Hospital before they moved Linda Ward out by 5. I picked my mother. I pushed the form back. "Fire me then. I am not begging you while my mother is waiting for a bed." Craig's smile got wider because men like him think poor people only grow a spine when it is ornamental. He hit the intercom. "HR, witness this." A woman from HR stepped in, stamped the form, and tried not to look at me. The stamp hit the paper. My phone hit back. The screen went black, then white, then showed one clean line. "Freedom dividend system activated." Under it, another line appeared. "Costly refusal accepted. Dividend issued, $12,000. I laughed once. Not because it was funny, because Craig was still talking. "You will come crawling by Monday," he said. "People like you always remember math." I opened my bank app. $12,000 sat there like it had been waiting for him to insult my mother. Then the bank text arrived. Then the email. Then Craig noticed my face and stopped smiling. The first rule was not noble. Freedom paid only when the price was real, so I stood up. Craig said, "Where do you think you are going?" "To pay a hospital," I said. "Try replacing that with an intern." HR's mouth twitched. Craig's did not. He snatched the termination form back, like paper still mattered after my phone had just broken reality. Too bad for him. HR's copy hit my inbox before the elevator dinged. He kept the paper. I kept the receipt. The elevator doors opened on Jade Marlowe. Of course they did. Jade was Mavencast's top creator, all clean camera angles and expensive comm. She looked at the HR woman, then at my box, then at Craig's office door. "Dylan," she said, soft enough to sound accidental. "Tell me you are not actually leaving." Then she stepped in front of the elevator. Craig said, "My launch dashboard is still locked under your credentials. 5 minutes, you always fix these things for me." That was Jade's trick, not flirting, not begging, just a smile that made men feel chosen while they did unpaid labor. Craig was watching through the glass, so was half the floor. I said, "You heard him fire me." "I heard Craig being dramatic," Jade said. "No," I said. "You heard him mock my mother. There is a difference." The assistants near the printers stopped pretending to sort paper. Jade lowered her voice. "Dylan, don't make this ugly. I need that launch." "Then ask your boss," I said. "He owns the leash. Let him pull it." The smile slipped. Just a little. That little slip was worth $3,000. Anti-lapdog choice accepted. Dividend issued, $3,000. Jade saw the alert before I locked the screen. Her eyes went from my box to my phone to my face. Craig came out fast. "Do not let him touch the dashboard. Security can wipe his access." "Good," I said. "Finally, you learn to manage." A junior editor choked on a laugh and turned it into a cough. Craig heard it. His face darkened. There it was, one tiny crack in the office where everyone had been scared of him. I walked into the elevator. Jade put her hand against the door. "Dylan, if this is about money, I can talk to Craig." I hit the lobby button. "Jade, when I needed money, you needed a dashboard. That answered everything." The doors closed on her hand, sliding away. $15,000, and I still felt poor. Money arriving does not erase the years you were trained to apologize for needing it, so I used it before fear could talk me out of it. I sent $10,000 to Paul Ward with one message. "For Mom. Pay whatever they ask. I am coming." My father called in under 10 seconds. "Dylan, where did you get this?" "From quitting a bad job." Behind his voice, a monitor beeped. My mother coughed, small and dry. That sound put a hook under my ribs. Paul lowered his voice. "The nurse said if the bed issue is not cleared, they may move her tonight. I sent the money. I will make it work." I hung up before he could ask a question. I could not answer. A driver outside Mavencast looked at my cardboard box and my cheap shoes. "You need the bus stop?" "Hospital," I said. "Cash up front." I almost laughed in his face. Humiliation used to be a wound. Now the system treated it like fuel. "Triple fare if you stop at the street cart first," I told him. At the cart, I ordered the breakfast I used to pretend was reckless. Egg, bacon, double cheese, extra sausage, and the fancy bottled orange juice. The cart guy stared at the pile. "Big day?" "I got fired." He froze. I tapped my card. Approved. Then congratulations, he said. Because city manners are just confusion with receipts, I tipped him $100. Reckless comfort chosen. Dividend issued $800. The driver saw the tip and suddenly opened the car door for me like we were at a hotel. Tiny reward. Tiny status shift. Petty as hell. I ate in the back seat while Craig's last line replayed. People like you always remember math. He was right. Every skipped lunch, every unpaid hour, every bonus that skipped my name because I was support. My mother pretending the hospital blanket was warm enough. So when the car passed a luxury menswear store, I told the driver to pull over. Hospital, right? The driver asked. Hospital after Armor, I said. I walked in carrying a cardboard box and smelling like breakfast meat. The clerk looked me up and down, then looked behind me for the real customer. Returns are processed downstairs, she said. I set my box on the polished floor. Good, I am not returning anything. She gave me the patient smile. Rich stores teach their staff for poor intruders. Our entry pieces start around 800. That is adorable. Show me what you hide from men who ask the price. Her smile froze. Another clerk drifted closer. I did not show her my balance. Let her guess wrong first. The collapse is sweeter when they build the chair themselves. Pick a full outfit. Suit, shoes, watch, coat. If you reach for anything Craig Hollis would wear, I leave. The name meant nothing to her. The tone did. She tested me with a navy jacket. Safe, dull, office apology fabric. I turned toward the door. Wait, the second clerk said. There it was. Greed, arriving late but eager. She came back with black wool, sharp shoes, and a watch that cost more than my old rent. The first clerk whispered. The second whispered back, let the card decide. So I did. The black card came out of my wallet like it had always been there. I did not remember receiving it. 1 second my old debit card was on top. The next, a matte black card sat behind it, nameless and cold. The clerk's eyes changed before the machine even approved. Approved. The store shifted around me. The first clerk straightened my sleeve. The second offered water. A security guard found somewhere else to stand. That was the real luxury product, not the suit. The panic. Status refusal converted. Wardrobe dividend issued. $4,200. The suit fit too well for a man who had walked in with his life in a box. The first clerk said, Mr. Ward, would you like us to dispose of the old clothes? No, bag them. People who judge by fabric should see the before picture. The second clerk gave one sharp laugh before swallowing it. The first went red. Then the side chaos started. A clerk near the register photographed my receipt. I did not notice then. Later I learned she posted it to the store's staff gossip thread. Broke kid, black card, massive attitude. One Mavencast employee had a friend at that store. By the time I reached the curb, the screenshot was already moving through phones I had not touched. Jade texted before the driver merged into traffic. Did you just buy a suit at that store? Then, before I could answer, Molly says the receipt is fake. Scarlett says the card is rented. Craig says if you used company contacts he will sue. One outfit. 4 flavors of fear. I typed, tell Craig to sue the sandwich too. It cost him more than my loyalty. Jade called immediately. I let it ring twice, not because I was busy, because for once, she could wait. Dylan, what is happening? You texted me. You tell me. Jade said, Molly is laughing so hard she cannot breathe. Scarlett is calling you a sponsored fraud, and Craig is asking who gave you money. Craig fired me. He lost the right to ask profitable questions. Jade went quiet. Less performance in it this time. More calculation. Then Scarlett Vega's voice cut through. Jade had me on speaker. Hey black card boy, if you are suddenly rich, take us somewhere real, not a receipt photo, real. I looked at the hospital portal loading in my lap and made a stupid, useful decision. Name the place. Molly Nash shouted from somewhere near Jade, North Pier Bistro. Scarlett laughed. Perfect. 4-star tasting room. They will smell fake money before dessert. 8 o'clock, I said. Scarlett scoffed. You cannot get a table there today? Good. Then you can enjoy being wrong with appetizers. I hung up and called North Pier Bistro before fear could vote. The reservation line gave me the polite laugh. Poor people here when a door is locked from the other side. We are fully committed this evening, the hostess said. I looked at the black card on my knee. It looked less like plastic and more like a dare. Private room? Chef's choice. Add whatever emergency fee makes that sentence true. The hostess stopped laughing. The hold lasted 18 seconds. When she came back, she used my name like she had found it in a richer font. Mr. Ward, North Pier Bistro can receive you at 8. Public doubt accepted. Pending stage created. No money this time, just a promise. Scarlett had built the next stage with her own mouth. Then the hospital portal refreshed in my lap. Bed reassigned. Transfer pending. I stared until the letters stopped looking like English. The bill had dropped. The room was still gone. I hit the payment button again. A red banner answered. Payment accepted. Bed unavailable. Please contact admissions. The driver asked, "Still hospital?" I looked at my new sleeves, my mother's room disappearing from a screen, and $15,000 that had stopped feeling impossible. Yes, and drive faster. The system had paid me for refusing Craig, for refusing Jade, for buying breakfast like I deserved lunch. But Harborline Hospital did not care that I had money now. Somebody had moved faster than my bank account. The first thing I learned after Harborline Hospital marked my mother's bed, reassigned, was that hospitals have a special voice for poor panic. The night admissions clerk kept saying, "Mr. Ward, I only see the portal status." "The bill is paid," I said. "I see that," the clerk said. "Then why is the bed gone?" A pause. Then, lower, "It is flagged for physician review. Your father can stay tonight. You need admissions in the morning." Who flagged it? The line went too quiet. "Mr. Ward, I only see the portal status," she repeated. She hung up before I could ask why a physician review appeared after the payment cleared. Paul texted a minute later. "Your mom is resting. Do not come angry." Under it, a blurry photo from an orderly he trusted, a transfer clipboard, my mother's room number. The doctor's initials half covered by a thumb, JK. No name yet, just a lockpick. Money had gotten through the first lock, somebody had already turned the second. There was nothing to hit at a hospital after hours, so I did the only useful thing my new problem allowed. I kept moving. At 7:50, I walked into North Pier Bistro carrying my old clothes in a garment bag and my Fired Life cardboard box under one arm. The suit helped. The box hurt. The man at the host stand looked at the box first. "Deliveries are round back." "Good to know. I am eating upstairs." His eyes moved to my shoes, then the box. Rich, crazy, or a problem, he could not decide. "Name? Ward." He tapped the screen. His back straightened so fast I almost heard it click. "Mr. Ward, the upstairs tasting room is ready." One word on a screen, and a man ready to point me at an alley now treated my cardboard box like a family heirloom. I took the stairs slowly, because the stairwell carried voices, and Scarlett Vega could turn a compliment into a felony. "He is not here," Scarlett said below me. "A guy like Dylan does not get North Pier Bistro on 2 hours' notice." Molly Nash laughed. "Maybe he is in the kitchen washing plates to cover the reservation." The hostess said, "Mr. Ward arrived early. He is waiting in the upstairs tasting room." The lobby went quiet enough for silverware to matter. Molly said, "Wait, are Dylan Ward?" Scarlett said, "There is more than one?" The hostess checked her tablet. "Dylan Ward, private tasting room, pre-authorized service charge." Pre-authorized service charge, beautiful phrase. Ugly people hate when money speaks fluent etiquette. I stepped into the room before they saw me. Let them climb. Let them wonder if the hostess had made a mistake. Anticipation is cheaper than rockets and almost as useful. Molly entered first and pointed at my suit. "Okay, that is rude." Jade's eyes went to the cardboard box by my chair, then the black card beside my water glass. Then me. Scarlett looked at the card and smiled like she had found the string. Bold prop. I leaned back. "You made it upstairs. Congratulations." Molly circled the room with her phone raised. "This room has its own balcony. Scarlett, if he kidnapped a senator, I call dibs on the documentary." Scarlett sat across from me. "So what is the trick? Crypto? Sponsor? Rich aunt? Did Craig pay you to embarrass us?" "Craig could not afford my lunch today." Jade heard the edge in that and looked down. "Good. Let guilt do a little work." A server arrived with a menu printed on thick paper. He began. "Tonight's progression opens with chilled fennel vapor." The server blinked. "Excuse me? No vapor. No leaf arranged like it lost a bet. I want barbecue." Molly lowered her phone. "In North Pier Bistro? Especially in North Pier Bistro?" Scarlett clapped once, delighted. "Oh, this is perfect!" He got the room, but he does not know how to act in it. She thought etiquette was the weapon. She thought a rich room had rules money could not bend. The manager appeared, pleasant and armored. "Mr. Ward, the kitchen is not set for barbecue service." I pointed through the glass. "There is a smoker trailer 2 blocks down. Buy it out for the night. Pay the crew triple. Ribs, brisket, cornbread, fries, pickles, and whatever bottle makes the wine guy suffer the least." "Mr. Ward, that would be highly irregular." "Good. I was fired this morning. I am celebrating irregular." Jade covered her mouth. Molly whispered into her camera, "This is either the greatest dinner of my life or the start of a lawsuit." Scarlett leaned forward. "And if your card fails, then you get your headline. Isn't that why you came?" Her smile sharpened. "Because I had named the game and still played. I gave the manager the number. 20,000 for the disruption. 10,000 tip if the ribs arrive hot. Another 5 if nobody says fennel near me again." His smile disappeared. Not from offense, from recalculation. He brought the terminal himself. Scarlett sat up. Jade stopped breathing for half a second. "Molly forgot to film." I tapped the black card. Approved. The terminal chirped like it had no respect for drama. The manager looked at the receipt, then at me, with a completely new religion in his eyes. Of course, Mr. Ward. Molly slapped the table. He bought the vibes. Scarlett did not laugh. The system pulsed under my napkin. Elite rule rejected. Reckless freedom confirmed. Dividend issued, $18,000. I locked the screen fast, but Jade caught enough to know something had lit up. She did not ask. Smartest thing she did all night. The food arrived in 28 minutes. Actual ribs, shining under fancy lights, carried by servers who looked like they were smuggling joy through a museum. Molly made a sound so sincere, the server laughed. Jade took one bite of cornbread and stared at it like it had personally rescued her childhood. Scarlett waited the longest. Pride is a stupid seasoning, but people add it to everything. Finally, she picked up a rib with 2 fingers. Sauce touched her manicure. The room watched. She bit. Her eyes betrayed her before her mouth could lie. Molly screamed, "She likes it!" "I do not," Scarlett said while chewing again. The manager returned, saw Scarlett eating with both hands, and pretended not to notice. That restraint alone earned him the tip. Scarlett tried to recover while everyone was still eating. Nice trick. But prepaid rooms are not wealth. They are theater. Molly pointed at the trays. If this is theater, I support the arts. Scarlett opened the wine list and dragged one red nail down the page until she found the number she wanted. This bottle, she told the manager, rarest one on the list, since Dylan is allergic to normal behavior. Jade set down her fork. Scarlett, stop. Why? Scarlett said. He is the one showing us freedom. She did not care about the bottle. She cared about the second swipe. Fake stories get weaker when the machine chirps twice. The manager looked at me. With service, 12,000. Scarlett sat back like she had just placed a crown on a guillotine. Jade leaned toward me. Dylan, you do not have to. I know. That was why I did. I tapped the black card. Approved. Scarlett stared at the terminal as if it had betrayed her personally. I said, do not bring it to the table. The manager paused. Sir, open it after service for the kitchen crew and the floor staff. They bent the room. They get the bottle. The server beside him almost dropped the empty tray. Molly whispered, Oh, that is evil nice. Scarlett's face tightened. She had tried to make me perform for her. I paid for everyone except her. Status redirected. Dividend issued. $6,500. The manager bowed his head, just enough for the room to notice. That is generous, Mr. Ward. No, generous would be doing it quietly. Molly nearly fell out of her chair. Even Jade smiled, small and unwilling. Then, lower, you could use money like this to make people chase you. I wiped sauce from my thumb. People already chase money. I do not need to help them embarrass themselves. Jade held my eyes. No ready line, no camera smile. Scarlett saw that look and hated it. Her next trap started forming before the staff finished hiding the bottle. Then the side chaos arrived, because it is allergic to clean endings. A young server filmed 10 seconds through the cracked service door. No faces, just barbecue trays in the North Pier Bistro tasting room and one blurred black card receipt. Within minutes, a restaurant rumor account posted it. Mystery buyer ordered backyard food in the tasting room and made management say yes. Molly saw it first. Oh no, she said, which for Molly meant yes. Her own selfie went up next. Jade's shoulder, scarlet sauce, stained fingers, my watch caught in the corner. A gossip page reposted both. Then Jade's phone started shaking. She looked at the screen and lost the color in her cheeks. She turned it toward me. Is that Dylan in the North Pier Bistro clip? Craig wants to know who is paying for this. Scarlett grinned too hard. There it is. Jade put the phone face down. Dylan, Craig watches creator clips. If he ties you to me tonight, he will make it ugly. He fired me. He still owns my contract. That killed the dinner jokes. Craig still had a leash, and Jade had just shown me where it attached. Scarlett pounced on the shift. Then let us make it clear. Glasshouse Club, public place, cameras everywhere. If Dylan is real, he can keep spending. If he is sponsored, the sponsor will get nervous. Molly's eyes widened. Scarlett, what? He wanted irregular. Jade looked at me. You do not have to prove anything to her. Almost true. I did not have to prove anything to Scarlett. But I had to learn what this system rewarded, and public humiliation kept walking up to me wearing perfume and lipstick. I checked Harborline under the table. Bed reassigned. Admissions review pending. Still stuck. Paul texted, your mom woke up. She asked if you ate. I lied and said yes. I typed back, tell her I ate too much. I will handle the rest. Then I looked at Scarlett. Glasshouse Club. But if you want a public test, do not cry when the public chooses. Scarlett wiped sauce from her thumb like she had already won. Bring the card. I put it back in my wallet. Bring a better trap. By the time we left, the lobby staff watched me like I was either a whale or a warning label. Jade walked beside me, quiet. Molly walked behind us narrating into her phone. For legal reasons, I did not eat $3,000 of brisket, I ate opportunity. Scarlett walked ahead, texting fast. I did not know who she was texting, I did not need to. The next stage had lights, cameras, drinks, and a crowd that wanted somebody to fall. Scarlett thought she had invited me to Glasshouse Club to expose fake money. She had really invited me to find out how loud the freedom dividend system could get. Glasshouse Club was not a place people went to drink. It was a place people went to be seen making mistakes. That was why Scarlett picked it: crowd, cameras, and enough noise that if my card failed, the humiliation would travel before I reached the door. I walked in with the hospital portal still open on my phone. Bed reassigned. Admissions review pending. Same poison. New room. Jade noticed. Hospital? Not solved. Then why are you here? She asked. Because Scarlett volunteered to pay for my next test with her ego. Jade almost smiled. That is a terrible reason. Craig fired me for a better one. I am diversifying. The floor host straightened for Jade. Then he saw me, not famous, not smiling, carrying a cardboard box, and his attention slid off me like cheap fabric. Scarlett brightened. See, Glasshouse Club has taste. I set the box on the nearest high table. Glasshouse Club has lights and expensive ice. Let us not get spiritual, Molly snorted. Scarlett waved a bartender over and spoke loudly enough for the surrounding tables. Private dice, top shelf rounds, the loser buys for the room. The bartender looked at me first, which told me she had already sold him the joke. Define loser, I said. Scarlett lifted 3 dice from her purse. Red, glossy, dramatic. Lowest total buys, 3 rounds, then the loser posts publicly that they borrowed the card. Molly's smile died. Scarlett, that is not funny. It is if he is lying, Scarlett said. Jade stepped closer. Do not play. That was the smart move. So I ignored it. Not because I trusted Scarlett, because I wanted her to say the ugly part out loud before I ruined it. What if I win? I asked. Then I admit you are rich. No, that is cheap. I leaned in. If I win, you admit you wanted me broke, because broke men are easier to laugh at. The nearby tables went quiet in little pieces. Scarlett's smile stayed up, but her neck went red. Roll. She rolled first. 17, Molly whispered. That is suspiciously high. Scarlett blew on the dice and slid them to me. Your turn, black card boy. The old Dylan would have rolled, prayed, and felt grateful if he lost quietly. The new Dylan had a system that paid for ugly freedom. I picked up the dice and dropped them into Scarlett's drink. The table gasped for real. Scarlett shot upright. What is wrong with you? I looked at the bartender. Open a bar credit. How much? 50,000. He laughed once because his body rejected the number. I put the black card on the table. He stopped laughing. Scarlett said, You cannot just... I can. That is why you brought me. The machine approved so fast it insulted her. The staff screen behind the bar flashed for the whole floor. Open credit, $50,000. Paid by Dylan Ward. First round, I said, is on Scarlett's honesty. The bartender repeated it into the house mic because bartenders love chaos when someone else funds it. People cheered before they knew why. Give a crowd free alcohol and a villain and they assemble the story themselves. Molly covered her mouth. Oh my God! Jade looked at me like I had set a small building on fire and called it lighting. Scarlett stood frozen while strangers raised glasses toward her. I leaned closer. You wanted a post. Smile for the one you got. Phones lifted. Trap rejected. Public humiliation converted. Dividend issued, $28,000. That reward landed hot because Scarlett saw just enough of the glow to know the night was still not obeying normal rules. She grabbed her drink, remembered the dice, and threw the whole thing into a napkin bucket. The crowd laughed. Then Halo Stream found us. Molly was still live because Molly treated privacy like a technical error. Her chat exploded with clips of the bar credit screen. Then Luna Arden entered the chat. She did not come to the club. She did not need to. A challenge request filled Jade's screen. Luna Arden challenges Jade Marlowe to live PK. Jade's face changed. That was not dinner drama anymore. A PK was simple. 2 creators go live, viewers buy rockets, the loser gets humiliated in front of their own audience. Luna was Mavencast's other crown. Jade was tired, trapped in a rumor, and still under Craig's contract. Perfect time to attack. Scarlett recovered instantly, because someone else had brought a knife. Oh, now we see who is really worth money. Jade turned the phone away. Not tonight. Luna's request came again. A message flashed under it. Scared already? Molly's chat went feral. Jade's jaw tightened. Pride is expensive. Creator pride charges interest. She accepted. Jade, I said. She did not look at me. If I decline, Craig calls me dead weight by morning. There was the leash again. Jade went live from a side booth. The club crowded closer. Scarlett took a seat like she had bought tickets. Luna appeared on the split screen, polished, rested, and cruel, the way only a rival creator can be while smiling. Jade, North Pier Bistro, Glasshouse Club, and still no energy? Mavencast really is carrying you. Jade smiled for the camera. You always talk more when you are nervous. Good line. Bad scoreboard. Luna's side jumped first. Rockets stacked across her screen in gold bursts. Jade's donors were slow. Some were confused by the rumor clips. Some did not want to cross Luna. Some had probably been told not to. Jade fell behind by 20,000 points, then 40, then 60. Scarlet leaned toward me. Where is your freedom now? I watched Jade keep smiling while her fingers tightened under the table. The answer was in my wallet, but I waited. Long enough for Luna to overcommit and for Jade to taste what Craig's leash cost her. Molly, meanwhile, was frowning at her own creator dashboard. That is weird, she muttered, and turned the screen. Rows of accounts spamming the same line for Luna. Same timing, same badges, same empty profiles. Molly's voice got smaller. Craig's growth team used this pattern on my account last month. Jade looked over. Molly's face went red, but she kept talking, because shame had finally found a target besides herself. I thought they were real followers. They told me I was growing. The live chat caught it. Molly just admitted Mavencast bot followers? Wait, Luna's hype is padded? Scarlet snapped. Turn your mic off, Molly. Molly stared at the comment flood. Then she did the first brave thing I ever saw her do. She turned the mic toward herself. If Mavencast sold me fake followers, she said live, then I want to know how many creators they lied to. The club reacted before Jade did. People love free drinks. They love public fraud more. The room shifted against Luna. Her smile tightened. That was my cue. I opened Halo Stream in private donor mode. No name, no speech, no begging Jade to notice, just rockets. The first 10 hit Jade's side so fast the booth speakers crackled. The score jumped. Luna blinked. Scarlet sat up. I sent 20 more. Jade's chat exploded. The scoreboard crossed the halfway mark. Luna laughed like it was nothing, but her next sentence came too quickly. Cute. Jade found a little sponsor. I sent 50. The club started chanting Jade's name, not loyalty. Comebacks feel like theft from the arrogant, and everyone likes watching arrogance get robbed. Jade looked around for the donor. I kept my phone low. Luna's side answered with another rocket storm. For 8 seconds, it looked like she might hold, then my phone pulsed before I spent again. Rescue under pressure recognized. Matching dividend unlocked. A new balance appeared, bigger than the one I had walked in with. I did not stop to admire it. I bought rockets until the scoreboard stopped pretending. Jade passed Luna, then buried her, then doubled her. The final bell hit. Jade won. The club blew up. Molly screamed so loudly the speaker distorted. Jade stayed professional until the stream ended. Then, her mask cracked. Who sent those? Scarlet looked at me first. So did Molly. So did half the club, because subtlety had died somewhere around the $50,000 bar credit. I put my phone away. Someone who hates bad timing. Public rescue completed. Dividend issued, $62,000. Jade saw the light under my palm. This time she did not pretend she had missed it. Dylan. Then Craig Hollis walked into Glasshouse Club like a man trying to outrun humiliation and arriving late. His tie was crooked. That made me happier than it should have. 2 Mavencast employees followed, staring at their phones. One showed him a clip as he crossed the floor. The bar credit, Molly's bot comment, and Jade's win stitched together like a murder weapon. The side chaos had reached the boss. Craig pointed at Jade before he reached us. Outside, now. Jade stood. I stood too. Craig looked at me and laughed without humor. You, of course, fired for one afternoon and already sniffing around my creators. Your creator just won. Try clapping. His eyes went flat. Jade won because someone manipulated donations during a contract-protected event. Do you know her penalty for unauthorized sponsor activity? Jade's shoulders stiffened. There it was. He did not need to win the PK, he needed the leash after it. Molly's live was still running. Craig leaned toward the phone with a bigger voice. Jade Marlowe is under exclusive Mavencast management. Anyone interfering will be sued. Anyone encouraging her will pay. He turned to me. And you cannot afford the number. The club quieted. He had finally said the exact wrong thing in the exact right room. I stepped between him and Jade. Name it. Craig smirked. Her penalty is 8 figures. Then send the invoice. His smirk twitched. I kept my voice low enough that he had to listen and loud enough that Molly's phone caught every word. Better yet, send the buyout price. Jade grabbed my sleeve. Dylan, don't! Craig laughed. You are going to buy Jade Marlowe? No, I am going to buy the leash you keep waving around like a personality. That landed. The bartender stopped polishing a glass. Molly whispered, Oh, that is going everywhere. Craig stepped closer and reached for Jade's arm. We are done here. I caught his wrist before his fingers touched her. The room went sharp and silent. Craig stared at my hand like he could not believe the fired employee had bones. Let go. Do not touch her on camera. You were bad at looking innocent. Molly angled the phone without breathing. Craig pulled his wrist free, but the room had already seen him fail to move me. He straightened his tie. Enjoy tonight. Tomorrow, she belongs to Mavencast again. Tomorrow, I said. I start shopping. One of his employees whispered. Badly. Craig, the office chat is asking if Dylan has a sponsor. Craig snapped. Shut up! Too late. Molly's replay caught that too. That line did more damage than an insult. Mavencast was not just angry, it was confused. Confused bosses get sloppy. Craig left with both employees chasing him and half the club filming his back. Jade exhaled like she had been holding the same breath for years. Molly ended the live, stared at her frozen replay and said, My follower count is not real, is it? Jade said. Molly, no, Molly said. Don't smooth it. If Craig patted me and laughed while I thanked him, I won out too. Not a full alliance yet. Better, a crack, a real one. The system did not pay for that immediately, and I liked it more because of that. Some things should not need a pop-up to matter. Then my phone rang. Not the system. Paul, every good win has a bill hiding under it. My father's voice was too controlled. Dylan, a nurse just said your mom's transfer was moved up. They are saying another patient needs the room tonight. The club noise fell away. Did they say who ordered it? No, only that a doctor signed off. A doctor, a bed, a paid bill that still could not buy safety. I am coming, Jade said. Dylan, what happened? I grabbed my cardboard box. My mother is being moved. Scarlett opened her mouth, then closed it. Smartest thing she did all night, Molly whispered. Do you need the name on that order? I moved for the door. Jade followed. I stopped. Do not follow me because you feel guilty, she swallowed. Then I will follow because Craig just reminded me what a leash looks like. That answer was useful, so I let her walk beside me. Outside, the night air cleared the club smoke from my lungs. I had won the bar, saved Jade's rank, and challenged Craig on camera. None of it mattered against my father's phone. I thought the hospital would be the next problem. I was wrong about the problem. Somebody had already put a price on my mother's bed. By the time I reached Harborline Hospital, my mother was still in the room. That was the first mercy. The second stood outside her door in blue scrubs, holding a chart like she had already decided to risk her job. Mr. Ward, I need you to listen fast. My father stood up from the chair beside Linda Ward's bed, wearing the gray, careful look poor men get around the sick. Linda was asleep, her hands too small on top of the blanket. The nurse lowered her voice. The transfer order says 6:15. Dr. Joel Kramer signed it. If you are not here before transport, she moves. Moved where? Observation overflow, hospital language for hallway with better lighting. Jade stepped closer. The bill was paid. The nurse looked at me. I am not supposed to say this. The order is not about the balance. Money had opened the first lock. Somebody with a name tag had closed the second. Why tell me? I asked. She glanced at Linda. Because she apologized to me for being a burden. People who are actually burdens never apologize. That line did more damage than Craig's firing. 6:15? That is the written time, she said. Dr. Kramer sends transport early when he does not want arguments. Then I will be here at 5:50. She nodded once and walked away before she could regret being decent. Paul touched my sleeve. Dylan, your suit. Long story. Your transfer covered the bill, but Harvey called while you were gone. Of course he did. Uncle Harvey Denton had the timing vultures respected. Paul had borrowed from him for the first deposit, because fathers would rather eat shame than admit they are out of options. Harvey held the debt like a hobby. He liked having a reason to call us desperate. My phone buzzed. Not the system. Harvey, tell your son the debt is family business. If he found money for restaurants, he can bring it to my house before breakfast. Jade saw my face change. Dylan. Stay with my mother, I said. Paul said, no, he wants to humiliate you. Good, the system has a taste. Jade caught my wrist. You have a doctor coming at 6. Then I have 2 hours to shut up a relative. Her grip loosened. She understood leashes now. The night should have gone straight to Harvey's house. But my apartment building got its hand around my ankle first. I went there for Linda's blanket, her charger, and the folder Paul had forgotten. The landlady was waiting in the lobby like bad news had told her my route. She looked at my suit and smiled with all the warmth of a parking ticket. Dylan Ward, nice costume. Rent still counts when you play rich. A man by the mailboxes laughed into his coffee. She stepped in front of the elevator. Your father promised the balance by Friday. Harvey already called asking if your parents keep anything worth selling. This is not a charity. People love saying that when they are about to ask for money. How much to stop hearing your voice for a year? I asked. Her smile faded. Excuse me? 12 months. Rent, late fees, whatever little punishment fee makes you feel tall. She named a number too fast. She had been carrying it around like a knife. I tapped the black card on her terminal. Approved. The man by the mailboxes stopped laughing. Print the receipt, I said. My father likes paper-proof. Mr. Ward, if I had known. You knew my mother was sick. That was enough information to be human. Housing shame rejected. Secure shelter dividend issued. A second card sat behind the black card when I opened my wallet. Matte, black. No bank logo. One silver line. Baycrest Estates. The landlady saw the words and went quiet in a better language. I did not know what Baycrest Estates meant yet. I only knew her eyes changed like she had just learned the stray dog owned the block. Keep the apartment for my parents, I said. Touch my mother's things again, and I buy the building just to evict your attitude. The mailbox man coughed coffee into his cup. Tiny payoff, big mood improvement. Then Harvey called again. I answered on speaker while the landlady still held the receipt. Where are you? Harvey demanded. Paying debts. You should be excited. Bring cash, he said. I do not trust your little apps. You will learn. 15 minutes later, I walked into Uncle Harvey Denton's living room and found out he had invited an audience. Harvey sat in his recliner like a judge who had bought the robe at a yard sale. Kelsey Rain stood by the fireplace with wine. The same girl who called me sweet when she needed homework and invisible when rich kids arrived. Beside her stood Brandon Gage, contractor money, Jim shoulders, smile of a man never told no by someone he could not underpay. Harvey looked me over. So the charity case bought a suit. Kelsey covered a laugh badly. Brandon did not bother. Debt amount, I said. Now. Harvey leaned back. No hello, no gratitude? Your father came to me with his hat in his hands. I kept your mother in that hospital. You lent money with interest. Do not dress greed as family. It looks cheap on you. Harvey's face went red. Kelsey's eyes moved to my watch. Brandon noticed her noticing and put his arm around her waist, like people were property if you squeezed hard enough. Careful, Ward, he said. Some families still have reputations. Then protect yours from this conversation. Harvey slapped a folder on the coffee table. 28,000, with penalties. Paul had borrowed less than half that. I did not argue. I let Harvey enjoy the number. Then I sent $40,000 to the account on the page. His phone buzzed. The little sound hit the room harder than a shout. His face went from angry to confused to greedy in 3 ugly steps. Debt, interest, and a tip for retiring from my father's life, I said. Kelsey's wine glass stopped halfway to her mouth. Brandon's arm dropped from her waist. Family debt cleared under insult. Dividend issued, $34,000. Kelsey recovered first. Social climbers are like roaches. Light startles them, but they move fast. Dylan, she said, suddenly softer. Why did you never tell me things were changing for you? This was the same Kelsey who once said I was husband material for a woman with low standards, at a cookout. While Brandon laughed. Because you only hear money, I said. I was waiting until I could afford your attention. Her cheeks colored. Brandon stepped forward. You think paying old family debt makes you something? No, it makes me done here. Then he made his mistake. He looked at my hospital visitor sticker and smiled. Arborline, right? My family is moving someone there tomorrow. Private room, chief attention, the whole package. You should have asked me. I know people. Kelsey glanced at him. Brandon. He kept going because men like that confuse warning with applause. Dr. Kramer owed me a favor. Beds open when the right patient arrives. That is how cities work. There it was. Not proof for a courtroom. Plenty for me. I smiled. Brandon did not like that. What? Nothing. I just found the smell. I left before he understood which part of him was burning. Outside, my phone pulsed, and this time it did not show cash. Public care route detected. Ridgefield Community Wing pledge available. Cobalt Construction contact authorized. Hector Lyle. The system had stopped handing me only money. Now it was handing me doors. I called. A rough voice answered on the 3rd ring. Hector Lyle, Dylan Ward. I need Harborline's chief awake before 6. Dr. Kramer is moving my mother for Brandon Gage. Silence. Then, Gage bragged, loudly. Good. Loud men are easier to drop. Get to the ward. I will bring Dr. Marin Fields to you. 1 door, 1 name, 1 deadline. My kind of healthcare reform. I reached Harborline at 5:48. Transport was already there. The charge nurse stood in front of Linda's door with both hands on the chart. An orderly whispered, they usually do this after family leaves. Not just my mother then, a habit. Dr. Joel Kramer came down the hall in a white coat that made him look official if you had never met a bully with credentials. Mr. Ward, your mother is stable for transfer. Please do not obstruct staff. Paul stepped out. She is not ready. Kramer did not look at him. Families rarely feel ready. Same poison as Craig, different building. You signed the order after the bill was paid, I said. Bed management is medical discretion. And Brandon Gage's family is medical necessity? His face flickered. Tiny. Fast. Enough. The charge nurse saw it too. He lifted his clipboard. Security can remove you. Call them. I want an audience. He leaned closer. You people think one payment makes you owners. Jade caught my father's arm. She had come back in last night's clothes, eyes sharp and tired. Which people? I asked. He realized the hallway had nurses in it. Too late, a voice behind him said. I would like to hear that answer too. Dr. Marin Fields walked up with Hector Lyle at her side. Hector looked like he belonged on a job site. Dr. Fields looked like she had been woken up angry and decided to stay that way. Kramer straightened. Dr. Fields, this is a family disruption. She looked at me. Mr. Ward, my mother's bill is paid. Her bed was reassigned. Dr. Kramer signed the transfer. And an hour ago, Brandon Gage bragged that Kramer owed him and beds open when the right patient arrives. That is hearsay, Kramer snapped. No, that was bait. This is the lock. I held up my phone and played the 30 seconds I had recorded in Harvey's driveway, where Brandon had followed me out to keep bragging. His voice filled the hallway. Kramer already knows. Ward's mother is moving before rounds. My patient gets the room by 8. Kramer went pale. Hector turned his tablet toward Dr. Fields. Cobalt Construction is ready to advance the Ridgefield Community Wing pledge under Mr. Ward's funding, but not through a corridor that sells beds. Kramer understood the floor had vanished under him. He grabbed for her sleeve. We should discuss this privately. She looked at his hand until he removed it. Dr. Kramer, step away from Linda Ward's chart. The hallway went quiet, Kramer said. You cannot suspend me in a public corridor. She took his badge off his coat herself. I just did. Linda Ward stays in protected care. Kramer grabbed for the badge and his knee hit the tile when he stumbled. Nobody helped him up fast. The orderly beside me whispered, about time. That mattered more than applause. My mother's bed had not been the first one sold, just the first one somebody paid to keep loudly. Dr. Fields turned to the charge nurse. Cancel transport. Protected care. No transfer without my signature. Paul covered his mouth. Jade looked at Linda's door and, for once, did not try to turn the moment into a line. False authority collapsed. Family care protected. Dividend issued. $75,000. Ridgefield Community Wing pledge accepted. Community leverage active. I locked the screen before Dr. Fields saw too much. She did not ask. Smart people notice miracles and invoice later. Brandon arrived 5 minutes after the doctor lost his badge. Kelsey half a step behind him. Harvey nowhere in sight. Brave men leave their witnesses at home when the room turns expensive. Where is Kramer? He demanded. The charge nurse smiled like she had waited years for the question. Unavailable. Hector stepped into his path. Your crew also became unavailable for the road development pre-clear. Cobalt Construction is reviewing subcontract risk. Brandon's phone rang before he could answer. His face went from tan to paper. A worker's voice came through loud enough for half the hall. They pulled our staging permits. What did you do? Brandon looked at me. The hallway looked at Brandon. Kelsey took one careful step away from him. Small step. Big insult. Beds open when the right patient arrives, right? I said, his jaw flexed. Roads are different. You do not know what I can block. Then block something. Make it public. I am starting to enjoy witnesses. He pointed at me, but his hand shook. That was the payoff. Not the money. Not the pledge. My mother staying in that room while the men who priced her like furniture learned I could price them back. Paul sat down like his knees had remembered gravity. Brandon backed away, shouting into his phone about crews and permits and respect. At the time, I thought he was tomorrow's problem. Then Jade's phone rang. Craig Hollis had waited exactly long enough for my mother to stop being movable before trying to put Jade back on a leash. Brandon Gage left Harborline yelling about staging permits and how nobody canceled his cruise without paying for it. Hector Lyle watched him go with the calm of a man who had seen contractors threaten weather. Do not chase him today. He wants you tired. Annoying. Because it was correct. Then Jade's phone rang, and Craig Hollis reminded me some leashes pull from 2 buildings at once. Craig did not wait for hello. His voice carried to Paul's hallway chair. You board that sponsor flight and you smile. Then you explain that last night was a hacked donation stunt by a fired employee with stolen access. Jade's jaw tightened. Craig, Dylan saved my rank. Dylan is unemployed. Do not confuse pity spending with power. I held out my hand. Jade hesitated. Then she put the phone on speaker and gave it to me. That was the first step she took off the leash. Craig, I said. Silence. Then his laugh, sharp and pleased. Of course you are there. Is this what you do now? Hover around sick rooms and creators until someone calls you useful? Paul flinched. Jade's face changed. That was Craig's real talent. He could find the open wound in any room and press it like an elevator button. Send the buyout number, I said. He stopped laughing. Her contract penalty is 8 figures, he said. Her sponsor breach adds more. You cannot afford the sentence I just said. Send it. Or say on speaker you are too scared to name the price. The hallway went quiet around us. Noon, Craig said. Mavencast conference room. Bring your rented card. I want the whole floor to watch it decline. Perfect. I like witnesses now. He hung up. Jade took her phone back, looking more angry than polished. You are not buying me. Good. I would have hated her if she sounded grateful too fast. I am buying the lock, I said. What you do after the door opens is your problem. Her eyes held mine. Then she nodded once. Then I am coming with you. Before Mavencast, we made one stop at the airport, where Craig's handler waited with an apology script open on a company phone. Jade, thank God. Craig wants the statement recorded before boarding. Donation irregularities. Fired employee. Personal mistake. No mention of the bots. A red recording dot blinked under the script. Jade took the phone, stopped the recording, and deleted the script. The handler whispered. Craig said if you miss this flight, he benches you for breach. I held out my hand. Call him. Craig answered on the first ring, swinging. Tell her the fired errand boy does not get to turn my creator into charity content. Two teenage girls by the departure doors recognized Jade and lifted their phones. Perfect. Noon, I said into the company phone. Conference room, buyout number. Bring her, bring the card, bring your little hospital sob story if you need courage. The gate called final boarding. Jade did not move. She slid the sponsor badge off her lanyard and put it in the handler's hand. Tell them, Mavencast can explain why its top creator is being threatened in an airport. The sponsor flight left without her. At noon, Mavencast's conference room was full before we entered. Craig had invited the wrong kind of audience: assistants, managers, a legal employee clutching a folder, and 3 people who had pretended not to laugh when HR stamped my firing. They looked at my suit first, then Jade. Then the cardboard box I still carried, because yes, I brought it. Petty is free. I had learned to enjoy free things. Craig sat at the head of the table. You look better than yesterday, Dylan. Is the sponsor dressing you too? I set the cardboard box on the table. The sound made everyone look. No, this is yesterday. I brought it so your room could recognize me. An assistant coughed into her sleeve. Craig's smile flattened. He pointed at Jade. Sit. Jade stayed standing beside me. Small move, huge disrespect. The room felt it. Craig opened the folder. Jade Marlowe is under exclusive Mavencast representation, unauthorized sponsor activity, reputational harm, platform disruption, public defiance. Number, I said. The legal employee blinked. Craig leaned back. You do not get to rush this. You rushed firing me while my mother was in a hospital bed. I learned from management. Number. Craig slid 1 page across the table. $10 million. He watched my face like a man waiting for gravity to return. I looked at the number long enough for the room to breathe again. That all? The legal employee dropped the cap of her pen. Craig laughed too loudly. Run it. A finance manager carried in a terminal with both hands. Craig did not want the money. He wanted the machine, a public decline in front of the woman he thought he was saving. I put the black card down. The terminal chirped. Processing, the cruelest word in finance. Craig smiled. Then the machine approved. $10 million left my account like it had somewhere better to be. The finance manager stared. It cleared. Nobody moved, so I helped them. Say it louder. Her throat bobbed. The buyout payment cleared. Jade closed her eyes. Craig's hand bent the folder. Contract lease challenged. Resource transfer accepted. Dividend issued. $2,500,000. I locked the screen, but Jade saw enough glow to know the system had answered the room. Craig stood. This does not make you a company. An assistant by the window made a small sound. Craig turned. What? She pointed across the street before she could stop herself. Everyone looked. On the empty glass floor facing Mavencast, 2 workers were pressing temporary white letters onto the window. Free Fall Media! Craig saw the name at the same time his floor did. Not a speech, not a business plan, a sign his employees would see every time they looked up from obeying him. Molly Nash's laugh came from a phone near the back. She was not there, but her clip had found the office chat. Did they put the new company across the street? That is violence with rent. Craig snapped. Turn that off. Too late. Jade laughed once. Just once. Craig looked at her like the laugh had stolen property from him. I slid a 1-page contract to Jade. 70-30 in your favor. No fake follower padding. No sponsor lock without consent. No dashboard hostage. You can leave if I turn into Craig. Craig said, that is not how this business works. Jade picked up the pen. That is why it sounds attractive. She signed. The pen made a small scratch. The whole room heard it like glass breaking. Loyal creator liberated. Company path opened. No cash amount this time. Just a progress bar with the word free fall above it. I liked that less, which probably meant it mattered more. Craig stepped toward Jade. You will regret this. I already did, she said. That is why I signed. Clean hit. We left through the main floor, not the side exit, not strategy. Spite wearing good shoes. The assistants watched Jade carry her own contract out. One handler whispered, can he buy anyone? I looked at him. Depends how ugly the leash is. 3 phones rose before I reached the elevator. Craig shouted behind us, "This is not over." The doors closed. Jade leaned against the elevator wall and let her professional face drop. For 2 seconds she looked scared. Then she looked free. "I do not know how to work without someone threatening me," she said. "Learn fast, I just bought a company with no chairs." She laughed, and this time it did not sound like branding. Hector texted before we reached the lobby. "Brandon is calling every road contact he has. Let him. His crew is already off the pre-clear list. If he screams in public, it helps us." Good. One fire could burn unattended. The other fire had an address in my wallet, Baycrest Estates. The keycard the system had dropped behind my black card still made no sense, which meant it needed a stage. Jade came along because apparently freedom made her nosy. Baycrest Estates sat behind a stone gate, a lake, and enough landscaping to make rent feel like a personal insult. The sales office looked like a private bank. I walked in carrying the same cardboard box. Jade looked at it. "You are doing that on purpose now. The box has range." A manager in a gray suit intercepted us before the front desk. "Contractor check-in is through service." April then, behind the desk, looked up sharply. "Sir, they came through the main gate." "April, I can see that." He turned back to me. "Resident tours are by appointment. Public curiosity is not allowed past reception." The old Dylan would have explained. The current Dylan had paid too much for silence to waste it. "Scan it," I said, holding out the card. The manager smiled. "That card is for residents. Then scanning it should be educational." April reached for the reader. The manager snapped, "Do not validate random cards because someone wore a suit." April hesitated. "People like her just decide whether decency is worth a supervisor's tone." She scanned it. The desk lit green. A chime rang through the sales office. On the wall screen, my name appeared. Dylan Ward, Baycrest Estates owner access. The manager's mouth opened. Nothing came out. April whispered, "Welcome, Mr. Ward." The manager recovered the way stupid authority always does. He attacked the person beneath him. "April, step away from the desk. That profile is clearly an error. I am calling executive verification." "Do that," I said. "Use speaker." He did not like speaker. So I called the number on the welcome screen myself. Leah Morgan's office. The manager's face changed at the name. "Dylan Ward, your manager thinks my estate profile is a costume." A pause. Then Leah Morgan herself. "Mr. Ward, please remain where you are." She arrived in under 3 minutes. She looked at the wall screen, the manager, then April. "Who scanned him in?" The manager pointed at April too fast. "She violated protocol." April went pale. "I said she treated me like a customer before she knew I mattered. Dangerous trait. You should promote it." Leah looked at April. Then the manager. "You are relieved from resident-facing duties. Security will collect your badge." His face collapsed. He turned to me with sudden moisture in his eyes. "Mr. Ward, I was protecting the community." "No. You were protecting your imagination of it." April watched him surrender his badge with both hands pressed together at her waist. Leah faced her. "April Venn, you will handle Mr. Ward's estate account, flag his profile for executive priority and resident owner recognition." April blinked. "Me? You made the right call under pressure," Leah said. "That is the job." April looked at me. "Congratulations," I said. "Try not to become him." Her laugh came out shaky but real. "Fair treatment rewarded. Estate status confirmed. Dividend issued. $410,000. Leah handed me a folder, a gate remote, and one metal key with the Baycrest crest cut into it. No tour, just a key heavy enough to make the room recalculate. Jade stared at it. "You own a place here?" "Apparently. Apparently is doing a lot of work for you lately," she said. "It is on probation." April made one note in my profile, and her screen sent a resident owner alert to Baycrest's partner list. I did not see the list then. Jade did. Her phone buzzed with Molly's screenshot from the Mavencast office chat. "Why is Dylan Ward on a Baycrest Estates owner alert?" Across the street, Craig was still telling people my money was rented. Now his own assistant was asking whether the rental came with a lake estate. We left with the key, the gate remote, and a problem across town that had already started screaming. Jade's phone buzzed before we reached the car. Her new freefall dashboard had no furniture, no studio lights, and no coffee machine. It did have challenges, dozens of them. Mavencast had sent live PK requests to every rookie Jade had recruited, including Noelle Rivera, a nervous girl who signed that afternoon because Jade promised fair treatment. Noelle's first message was 6 words. "They are attacking us right now." Jade looked at me. Craig could not sue the money back, so he had decided to beat my new company before we had chairs. Mavencast attacked before the delivery truck brought chairs. That was not an exaggeration. Freefall Media had a sign on the glass, a folding table, 3 borrowed ring lights, 1 coffee machine still in a box, and 6 rookie creators trying to look brave while their phones screamed. Noelle Rivera stood closest to Jade, clutching her phone with both hands. They challenged me first. Why me? I have 800 followers. Jade looked at the Halo stream screen and went cold. Because they know that. Craig had not sent lawyers, he had sent scoreboards. Every freefall creator had a live PK request from a Mavencast creator with bigger numbers and smug thumbnails already waiting. The comments were worse. Freefall speedrun collapse. Jade left Mavencast for a broom closet. Dylan Ward bought one creator and forgot payroll exists. Then the penalty terms came in. Mavencast wanted clips, not wins. Every losing freefall rookie had to pin a public apology calling her own company a fraud. One opponent had already fitted a clown filter around Noelle's face in the challenge preview. Noelle saw it and almost dropped her phone. That was the actual attack. The score was just a knife handle. Molly Nash read the payroll comment and said, "Rude. Payroll would at least have chairs." She had crossed the street with 2 bags of snacks and the face of a woman done with fake followers. "Are you here to help or heckle?" I asked. "Both. I am multifaceted trauma." Noelle laughed once, nervous but real. "Good. Fear that can laugh can still work." Jade turned to me. "If we decline, they call us scared. If we accept, the rookies get slaughtered in public." "Then we accept all of them." The room stopped. One creator whispered, "All." I looked across the street. Mavencast's windows were full of faces pretending not to watch. Craig wanted the first freefall story to be a public beating. Too bad for him, he still thought humiliation only moved one direction. "All," I said. "Go live from the lobby. Let them see the chairs have not arrived." Jade's eyes sharpened. "That makes us look smaller. It makes us look real, and when they lose to a company without chairs, they carry that forever." A rookie near the back lowered her phone. "I cannot do this. My parents watch my live. If Mavencast makes me pin that apology, I am done." The room waited for me to bully her into courage. Craig would have. I opened the payout app instead. "Then leave. Your signing bonus still clears. Freefall does not own your panic." Her phone buzzed. She stared at the deposit, then at the clown filter on Noelle's screen. "No," she said, voice small but angry. "If they wanted me scared, they should not have shown me the filter." That tiny choice hit the room harder than any pep talk. Jade looked at me, approval and annoyance mixed. "You paid her to stay?" "No, I paid her so staying meant something." Costly loyalty offered. Fear converted to choice. Dividend issued, $95,000. Molly pointed a snack bag at me. "That is petty enough to be strategy and weirdly ethical. I am uncomfortable." So we went live. 6 rookies on 6 phones, Jade on center camera, Molly on commentary. Noelle's split screen opened first. Her opponent smiled with studio lighting and the kind of confidence people rent by the hour. "Noelle, right? Cute setup. Are you streaming from a leasing office?" Noelle swallowed. The chat laughed. Mavencast's score jumped immediately. Rockets stacked on their side like someone had opened a rich faucet. Noelle's side barely moved. She looked at Jade. Jade looked at me. I shook my head once. "Not yet. Spend too early and it looked like buying pity for scared girls. Let villains enjoy the microphone first. They do half the work." The Mavencast creator leaned closer to the camera. "Maybe your boss should buy chairs before buying dreams." Noelle's eyes shone. Molly's smile died. The chat clicked it in real time. I still waited. Another rookie fell behind by 30,000. A third had her screen freeze because her hand was shaking. Jade whispered, "Dylan, let Craig's people laugh a little longer. Rockets hit harder after arrogance gets comfortable." Then the lights blinked. The lobby screens went black. One by one, the live feeds dropped. The Mavencast side of every PK erupted. Freefall Wi-Fi died. Startup folded. Dylan forgot internet costs money. Jade grabbed her tablet. "The uplink is gone." Molly ran to the window. Across the street, Mavencast employees were laughing openly now. Then Jade's phone buzzed. An old Mavencast assistant. She read it and her face went flat. "Craig's tech people were near our building panel 10 minutes ago. Not a lawsuit, not a memo, a wire cut at the perfect moment." Then Craig called. Jade put him on speaker without asking me. That was becoming a habit I liked. "Forfeit the rookie matches," Craig said. "Send Jade back to finish her sponsor obligations. I will call this a technical mistake instead of a public collapse." Noelle stared at the phone like it had teeth. "Craig," I said, "you cut the wire and still sound out of breath. That is embarrassing. You cannot win without the platform feed." I looked at the glass front, the sidewalk, and the Mavencast windows crowded with his employees. "Then watch us win with Windows." I ended the call. Craig had tried to kill the stream, so I gave him a better camera angle. Everyone to the glass, lobby stage, phones on cellular, ring lights facing out. If the studio is dead, the street becomes the studio. Molly clapped once. "Oh, that is disgusting. I love it." Ring lights went against the front windows. Creators sat on boxes, the folding table, the floor. Anywhere the camera could catch Mavencast's building behind them like a guilty witness. Jade put Noelle in the center. Noelle's hands shook. I crouched beside her so only she could hear. They picked you because you looked easy. Want to make that their mistake? She nodded, eyes wet. Then say one true sentence when we go back live. Tell them where you are. 6 Freefall Lives resumed at once, framed by the glass wall and the Mavencast building behind them. Noelle looked into her phone and said, voice shaking but clear. Mavencast cut our studio uplink, so we moved to the front window. If they want to watch us lose, they can do it from across the street. The chat froze for half a breath, then exploded. People on the sidewalk stopped walking. Someone pointed at Mavencast, then at our phones. The Mavencast creator on Noelle's split screen lost her smile. Craig's sabotage had become our advertisement. Causal disruption converted. Public stage upgraded. Matching dividend unlocked. Now. I opened Halo Stream donor mode. I did not start with Noelle. I started with the quietest rookie, the one Mavencast had ignored while crushing the loud ones. 10 rockets. Her score jumped. The Mavencast creator on her screen stopped mid-laugh. 20 to the next rookie. 30 to the third. Then Noelle. I sent rockets until her score climbed past pity, past respectability, past comeback, and into insult. The sidewalk crowd started chanting her name because crowds love a comeback and free humiliation. Her opponent tried to smile through it. Big donor bailout. Cute. I sent another wave. The score doubled. Molly shouted into her commentary live, a bailout is when rich people save failures. This is an invoice for arrogance. Noelle laughed on camera. That laugh did more for her follower count than any makeup team could have. 800 became 3,000. 3,000 became 12. Then the other freefall feeds caught fire. Jade moved behind every camera, fixing angles, steadying hands, feeding lines. That was why the buyout mattered. She made panicking people usable. Craig appeared behind Mavencast's glass. Even from across the road, he had stopped pretending this was funny. My phone kept pulsing between rocket purchases. Company defense recognized. Rookie loyalty seed detected. One by one, the PK timers ran out. Freefall won the first. The lobby screamed. Freefall won the second. A Mavencast employee slammed a blind shut. Freefall won the third. Molly started crying and laughing at the same time, which made her look insane and extremely shareable. Then Noelle's timer hit 0. She had tripled her opponent. For 1 second, she just stared. Then the follower counter rolled past 50,000. Jade grabbed her shoulders and turned her back toward the phone. Look, do not miss your own win. The chat filled with her name. Then the clown filter came back. Not on Noelle. Viewers had clipped Mavencast's preview and reposted it under the opponent's own live with the caption, wrong face. The opponent tried to end her stream before the timer finished. Halo Stream would not let her. The penalty terms she had set Noelle stayed visible on the challenge page, and the whole chat was asking whether Mavencast would pin its own apology. Noelle read the comments and laughed so hard she had to cover the microphone. That laugh became the clip. Not the rockets, not my money, her laugh. That was how you knew the humiliation had changed owners. Mass PK defense completed. Dividend issued, $4,800,000. Main payoff delivered. Time to make it worse for them. Noelle looked at the payout dashboard on Jade's tablet and flinched. How much of the gifts do we keep? That question told me everything Mavencast had taught her. Your contract says you're split, I said, so your split hits now. I approved the payouts. Noelle's phone buzzed, then another rookie's, then all 6. Noelle looked at the deposit and started crying for real. Molly leaned into her live. For anyone from Mavencast watching, this is called paying creators. I know it is new, sound it out. The chat lost its mind. Across the street, 2 Mavencast creators appeared at their lobby doors like prisoners looking at a hole in the fence. One crossed, ring light still folded under one arm. A handler shouted from the sidewalk, "You are under contract." She looked back. Then tell Craig to pay me like one. Give her water, I said. Then give her the fair contract page. Enemy talent destabilized. Recruitment wave opened. Craig stormed out 30 seconds later with 2 executives. One pointed at our lobby. The other said something that made Craig's face go white, then red. An employee leak hit Molly's phone a minute later, a shaky clip from inside Mavencast. An executive's voice snapped. You lost Jade, failed to crush the startup, and gave him a recruitment commercial. Explain which part of that was strategy. Molly played it once. The rookies cheered like the man had joined Freefall. For 1 perfect second, both buildings stared at each other through the street. Then I typed a post from Freefall's new account. If Mavencast keeps losing to folding tables, it should stop challenging furniture. Jade read it over my shoulder. That is childish. Post it. She posted it. The comments moved so fast the screen blurred. Not brand safe. Better. Mavencast wanted a clean execution. They got a street show, a defection, a leaked scolding, and a startup with no chairs and all the momentum. Public perception shift confirmed. Dividend issued, $380,000. The delivery truck arrived 20 minutes after the war ended. Two movers rolled chairs into a lobby full of creators laughing, crying, and refreshing follower counts like gamblers after a miracle. One mover looked around. Big opening day? Noelle wiped her face. Apparently. Biggest laugh of the afternoon. Jade stepped beside me while the first chairs came in. Craig will not stop. He should. He is bad at it. Online maybe, she looked at the street. But when men like Craig lose in public, they look for rooms where the audience already hates you. I did not answer fast, because my phone had buzzed. Not Halo Stream, not the system. A message request from a name I had not seen in years. Marissa Blythe, Dylan, everyone is talking about you. Our class reunion is this weekend at Summit Tower Hotel. You should come. It would be nice to catch up. Nice. That word had a smell when it came from people who remembered you poor. Attached was a group chat screenshot. My old classmates were already laughing about whether Jade had rented me, sponsored me, or adopted me for charity. One had written, invite him, let him show up with the box. I looked at the cardboard box near the folding table. Still useful, still ugly, still mine. Molly read over my shoulder and winced. Wow, your classmates suck with confidence. Jade's voice went flat. Do not go. Noelle, still flushed from her win, said, go, but livestream it. Everybody looked at her. She shrugged. What? I learned from today. The old company could not beat us online, so the next trap had arrived wearing nostalgia and a hotel reservation. I typed back to Marissa, would not miss it. The system did not pulse, it did not need to. The hook was already set. I thought beating Mavencast online would make them hide. The next invitation proved they only needed a room full of witnesses. Marissa Blythe's invitation arrived 5 minutes after Freefall beat Mavencast from a lobby without chairs. By breakfast, my old classmates had turned it into a charity event. Not officially. They were too cowardly for that. They filled the reunion chat with jokes about my cardboard box, Jade's car, and whether Freefall had hired me as a mascot. One classmate posted a poll, secret millionaire, fraud, or tax write-off. Marissa answered with a heart emoji. Then she texted me privately, ignore them, people are just curious. I would love to see you. That was her gift. She could pour gasoline with one hand and offer you a napkin with the other. Jade read the screenshot and said, do not go. Molly said, counterpoint. Go, but bring emotional explosives. Summit Tower Hotel. Private reunion floor. A woman who once treated me like a backup plan now acting like she had invited me out of kindness. I typed back, save me a seat, not a cheap one. The system did not pulse. That bothered me more than it should have. Saturday night, Jade drove me to Summit Tower Hotel and argued the whole way. Let me come inside, Jade said. No, they already think I sponsor you. Exactly, I said. She glared at the curb. You want them to overcommit. I want them comfortable. That is worse. Usually, I said. I stepped out in the same black suit, carrying the same cardboard box from Mavencast. Jade stared at it through the window. You know the box is not a personality. It has beaten 2 companies this week. Show respect. A valet saw Jade, the suit, and the box. His brain visibly failed to file me. A phone camera flashed near the doors, then another. The reunion had sent scouts. Inside, the private floor smelled like expensive carpet and cheap old resentment. The first person I recognized did not say hello. He angled his phone at my box and whispered, he actually brought it. The room laughed in little bursts. Marissa crossed the floor before the laughter could become a chant, polished, soft, and concerned in the exact way women look when they want witnesses to see them being kind. Dylan, she said, touching my arm, I am so glad you came. Behind her, a phone rose higher. You streaming the hug? I asked, or is that a separate package? Her fingers left my sleeve. The smile stayed. Barely. People are just excited. You disappeared after school, and now everyone is hearing these wild stories. I did not disappear. I got poor quietly. Nobody subscribes to that. A few people near the appetizers stopped laughing. Then Carter Hawthorne entered like the room owed him lighting. Marissa's fiancé wore a watch big enough to have weather patterns. He kissed her temple without looking at me. Then he did look. Dylan Ward, the surprise guest. Marissa told me you used to help everyone with assignments. She remembers labor fondly. His smile cooled. Good, he said. Tonight should be fun. That was when I saw the tablet propped near the center table. Live comments beside a payment pool. Not a bill split. A staged pity pot. A classmate stood beside it like a charity host. We are covering Dylan's share tonight. Nobody should feel embarrassed about coming back successful in spirit. Successful in spirit. Some insults are so soft people clap before they taste the poison. The room applauded, the comments filled with laughing emojis. A classmate shoved the tablet at my face. Little pledges beside little insults. $5 if I admitted Jade drove me. $10 if I opened the box. $20 if I thanked everyone for helping me afford real food. so I put the box on the table. The laughter rose before I touched the tape. Good. I opened it and took out the HR copy of the termination form Craig had tried to keep. Craig fired me while my mother's hospital portal was open, I said. This is what $20 buys you tonight. The before picture. The host's grin twitched. The comments slowed because the joke had touched something with a receipt. I looked at the pool total. $93, the price they had put on feeling superior. Keep it open, I said. I want to see how cheap the room is before I buy it. Carter laughed, because he thought that was a poor man's joke. Careful, Summit Tower charges more for napkins than that box is worth. Marissa gave me practiced sadness. I told them not to do that. Before or after they set up the camera? Her smile twitched. Carter stepped between us. It is just a joke, Dylan. Do not make charity awkward. Charity is already awkward when the recipient did not apply. A classmate near the bar said, Relax, we know Mavencast did not pay severance. Another added, Maybe Jade pays by the hour. The old me would have counted exits. The current me looked for the manager. Not yet. Let them build the stage. Dinner had assigned seating. Naturally, my name card sat at the far end, half off the table, beside the camera tripod and the payment pool tablet. Marissa frowned prettily. Who put Dylan there? Nobody answered. Carter laughed. Best angle for the stream. A classmate dropped a folded dollar bill beside my plate. For the pool. No hard feelings. I slid it into my jacket. Thanks. I collect evidence of small ambition. Then Carter raised his glass. To old friends and to everyone finding their path. Even if some paths involve sudden influencer rumors and cardboard luggage. More laughter. Marissa touched his sleeve. Carter, her voice said. Stop, her eyes said not yet. Halfway through the overcooked steak, a classmate accidentally bumped my chair hard enough to slosh wine across my cuff. Marissa reacted first. She pulled a white handkerchief from her clutch and dabbed my sleeve before I could move. I am so sorry, she said loudly. Dylan, let me help. The camera caught it. Of course it did. Carter smiled into his wine. I took the handkerchief, wiped the cuff once, and set it beside my plate. Careful, Marissa. Your fiancé might think kindness is flirting if the man gets rich fast enough. Carter's smile vanished. The table went quiet. Marissa went pink, which made 3 phones tilt closer. Then the hotel manager arrived with the bill folder and the trap finally opened its mouth. There appears to be confusion over the event guarantee. The room minimum has not been met and several premium items were added under open approval. Carter spread his hands. We agreed the group covers most of it. Dylan's share has a pool. He said pool like it was mercy. The manager looked at the tablet, then at me. The stream has listed Mr. Ward as the beneficiary. They had not only mocked me, they had made my humiliation the payment method. Marissa whispered, I can handle Dylan's part. Carter said, Marissa, do not. He is a grown man. Then, to me, unless Jade's money does not stretch to dinner. The room inhaled. Everyone wanted the card to fail. I stood and picked up the bill folder. $46,000. Ugly, but not impressive. Their cruelty was ambitious. Their math was provincial. I looked at the manager. What does this whole floor cost for the night? He blinked. Sir? Private control. Staff tipped. Stream cut. Every table not mine moved downstairs. What number makes this room stop being a reunion and start being mine? The manager looked at Carter. Carter smiled. Summit Tower does not sell reputation by the hour. The manager swallowed. Full floor buyout, food and beverage, security reset, staff gratuity. $250,000. The room exploded. A classmate shouted, There is no way. Carter laughed. Run it, I want to watch the prop melt. I put the black card on the folder. Processing took 4 seconds, long enough for every person who had dropped pity dollars into that pool to imagine telling this story differently. Approved. The manager stared at the screen. Louder, I said. This room loves public announcements. His voice cracked once. The floor buyout is approved. The table went dead. Then the manager removed the payment pool tablet from its stand and cut the feed. The last visible comment before it died, Wait, did the charity guy buy the room? Beautiful. Pity trap rejected. Public status reversal accepted. Dividend issued, $310,000. Move their event downstairs, I told the manager. Keep the staff. They earned hazard pay. A waitress covered a smile with the bill tray. Carter stood. You cannot remove my guests. I can? That is what buying the room means. He pulled out his own card. Put the Hawthorne account on file. I will match it. The manager froze like Carter had handed him a grenade. The name mattered more than the man. Then a woman's voice said, No, Carter, you will not. Opal Hawthorne walked in from the hallway with 2 hotel staff behind her. No dramatic entrance, no shouting, just control wearing a black coat. Carter's face changed so fast it answered half the room's questions. Opal, this is not. Our family office received a request to authorize a $250,000 tantrum at Summit Tower, she said. I came down because I assumed someone stole your card. She looked at me, then at the cardboard box, then back with recognition she had not earned from this room. Mr. Ward. Baycrest Estates flagged your owner profile after April Ven's promotion. I apologize for my brother treating a neighbor like an audition. The room heard Baycrest Estates. That phrase did what my suit had not. It gave my money an address, Marissa whispered. Baycrest Estates. Opal turned to the manager. Mr. Ward bought the floor. Clear it, quietly if they cooperate, publicly if they do not. That was the moment Carter folded. Not humility. Opal had taken away the family name he had been spending. He looked at Marissa like she had become expensive in the wrong direction. We are leaving. Marissa reached for him. Carter, wait. He pulled his arm back. Not violently. Worse. Embarrassed. You told me he was some old charity crush, he said, low, but the room had gone quiet enough to catch it. You did not tell me he was connected to Baycrest Estates? Marissa's face broke. I did not know. I laughed once. Petty and mean and perfect. That is the whole problem, Marissa. You never know until someone richer tells you where to look. Her eyes filled. Carter walked out first. Half the reunion followed because they had no idea how to exist in a room their target owned. Security helped the rest remember. Opal stayed. She did not sit. Smart, Mr. Ward. Carter embarrassed our name. I will not pretend otherwise. Good. Pretending is crowded tonight. Her mouth twitched. If you need anything at Baycrest Estates, my office can assist. I looked at her long enough for the offer to feel examined. I do not kneel for family names, I noticed. That is why I am speaking carefully. Useful answer. I let her leave with it. Marissa stayed until the room was almost empty. She came back for her handkerchief, then seemed to forget it was on the table. Dylan, I did not know Carter would act like that. Yes, you did. You were just hoping he would do it where it helped you. She flinched. I was trying to protect you from them. You put me beside the camera. Her mouth opened. Nothing came out. My phone went cold in my pocket, then bright. Regret index unlocked. Target recognized. Marissa Blythe. Visible regret. 87%. The system had been paying refusal, spending, rescue, and public collapse. Now it was measuring the exact kind of regret people hide behind soft voices. Marissa saw the light on my face. What is that? I locked the phone. A receipt, she swallowed. Can we talk somewhere private? The backup plan voice. The rich fiancé had left. The old poor boy had become a door. I held out the white handkerchief. You forgot this. She did not take it. Keep it, she whispered. I want a reason to see you again. The regret index pulsed through the fabric in my hand. Marissa Blythe, 91%. Strength allocation pending at completion. That last line was not romantic. It was a warning. Social humiliation had just made me money. It had also made jealous men look at me like something they could fix with their hands. By midnight, the reunion clip had split into 2 versions online. In one, I was a fraud with a rented card. In the other, a hidden whale who bought rooms to punish pity. Both versions traveled faster than truth. And somewhere beyond Summit Tower Hotel, men who cared less about money and more about muscle started watching. The regret index did not let me enjoy the reunion win. By morning, Marissa Blythe sat at 91%, and the system had added one ugly line under her name. Strength allocation pending at completion. That was not encouragement. That was the system telling me money had started fights my old body could not finish. Jade saw the screen before I locked it. Please tell me that does not mean what I think it means. I do not know what it means. You always say that before something explodes. Molly leaned over the folding table. Maybe it is a gym coupon from hell. Then Scarlet Vega called. No text first. That meant she was angry, scared, or out of ways to make the situation look intentional. For once, her voice had no polish. Dylan, do you know Meredith Bloom? Jade's expression changed. Wealthy sponsor, older, ruthless. Why? Scarlet's breath hit the phone. Because Lance of Tarot just told her I was stalking him, in the Summit Tower lounge, in front of everyone. This, Scarlet sounded like she was trying not to cry where cameras could see. Put the phone in your pocket, I said. Do not hang up. Jade grabbed her coat. This is not your problem. Scarlet made herself my problem at Glasshouse Club. That sounded mean. It was, I said. I am still going. The Summit Tower lounge was already filming itself when we arrived. Lance Otero stood near the bar in a cream jacket, all teeth and fake confusion. Meredith Bloom sat at the center table with the calm of a woman who had made money by letting other people sweat first. Scarlet stood between them with wine on one sleeve and rage in both eyes. Lance pointed at her phone. She clipped private messages and twisted them. I was helping her after Mavencast imploded, Meredith. She got attached. Scarlet snapped. You asked me to route your gifts through my page so Meredith would not see. Lance laughed. Listen to her. She thinks every donor is a boyfriend. People who hated Scarlet at Glasshouse Club enjoyed seeing her small. Then he pushed further. Because men like Lance never stop at enough. He lifted Scarlett's phone between two fingers. Apologize to Meredith on camera, and maybe I will not tell every creator page you tried to blackmail me. Scarlett reached. He raised it over his shoulder. One person started recording vertically, which is how you know shame is about to become content. Meredith did not stop him. She only watched Scarlett over the rim of her glass. For one ugly second I thought Scarlett might actually apologize for being used. I did not like that. Lance was using a richer woman as a shield while blaming the person he had used. I stepped into the circle. Lance saw me and smiled too fast. Oh, perfect, the guy with the box. Did she call you for rescue content? Scarlett flushed. I did not ask him to. You called, I said. Do not get brave retroactively. Her mouth shut. Meredith looked me over. And you are? The man who watched Lance use 3 different accounts to tip Scarlett at Glasshouse Club while pretending he was not with you. Lance's smile hardened. Careful. You first. He stepped close enough to make security pay attention. You have no proof. I looked at Scarlett. Open your donor log. Her hands shook, but she did it. No investigation, no folder, 1 public screen, 3 accounts, same card ending. Same messages Lance had been stupid enough to sign with inside jokes. Meredith saw the number ending before Lance reached for the phone. I caught his wrist. The room remembered Glasshouse Club. Lance did too. He tried to twist free and failed. I took the wine glass from his other hand and poured what was left directly into his cream jacket pocket. The lounge made one collective sound. Are you insane? Lance sputtered. No, I just hate wasted props. Meredith stood. Lance turned to her fast. Meredith, he is staging this. Scarlett set me up because she wants free fall. Meredith raised one hand. He stopped like she had pulled a plug. She took the sponsor card from the table in front of him. His face collapsed. She looked at Scarlett. You chose a pathetic man, but he chose to be pathetic with my money. That difference matters. Then she looked at me. Who trains you? Not the reaction I expected. I do not. Her eyes moved to Lance's wrist, still caught in my hand. Start. Men like this always come in groups after they lose one at a time. Public blame reversal accepted. Scarlett Vega regret route opened. Dividend issued. $120,000. Scarlett saw the glow and looked away like it hurt. Lance tried one last swing when I released him. Not a real punch. A rich boy flinched with a fist attached. I stepped aside. He hit the edge of the bar with his own knuckles and yelped. The lounge laughed at him. That laugh ended his morning more thoroughly than a beating would have. Meredith walked out without him. Security stepped into his path when he tried to follow. Scarlett stood there with her wine-stained sleeve and a face full of things she hated owing me. Thank you, she said. Do not make it romantic. Her eyes flashed. Good. Anger looked better on her than helplessness. I was not. You were deciding whether gratitude could become leverage. It cannot. She lifted her chin. Then what can it become? Work. If you want free fall, earn the audition. No trap, no pity, no Lance reruns. She nodded once, sharp and humiliated. Not redemption, a door. Before we left, the clip of Lance punching a bar and losing his sponsor had jumped platforms. Someone at Iron Hour Fitness reposted it with a caption, Money bought him a rescue scene. Muscle will not. Who trains you? By noon, I was standing under the answer. Dane Kroll owned it, or at least wore ownership like a fitted shirt. Black metal letters, glass walls, and a lobby screen showing member rankings like a church for people who worshipped veins. Gia Novak was at the front desk. First complication. Old school crush, current girlfriend of the gym owner. The kind of woman who had once smiled at me like I was safe because I was too poor to be dangerous. Dylan Ward? She said. Gia. Her eyes went to my suit, the black card, and the Summit Tower clip playing silently on the lobby screen behind her. You look different. Money has tailoring privileges. She laughed before she could stop herself. Then Dane Kroll came out of the training floor and put one hand on the desk beside her, built like the gym paid him in mirrors. Dylan, I saw the clips. Did you come to buy the bench press too? Members turned. Gia's smile faded. On the lobby screen, someone had split the room buyout clip beside Lance yelping at the bar. One question under both, can money buy muscle too? The next room had already decided how to test me. I came for a membership, I said. Dane looked at my shoulders and almost laughed. We do not refund after embarrassment. Good. I am not here to return anything. A trainer offered a tablet. We do a VIP body scan for new premium members. Strength profile, training tier. Standard scan is private. VIP leaderboard is public. Dane answered for me. Public, he bought a hotel floor. He can survive numbers. I looked at Gia. She was already embarrassed for the room, which meant Dane had overplayed in front of the one person he wanted to impress. So I made the choice expensive. Public, I said, and if it says I am weak, I buy every person in this lobby a month of training so they can feel superior with invoices. The front desk staff stopped smiling at the same time. Rich clients were funny until they threatened commission. Now the scan had stakes for Dane too. If I failed, he got the clip. If I passed, his gym had laughed at the wrong customer. The system pulsed once before I stepped on the scanner. Strength allocation available. Temporary boost permitted. No lecture, no training montage, just a choice. I accepted. The scanner hummed. The lobby screen shifted to my profile. Dylan Ward, new VIP assessment. Height, weight. Then the machine tried to calculate strength class. It froze. A red line blinked under my name. Frame mismatch. Output estimate invalid. Dane laughed. Even the machine is asking where the rest of you went. Then the grip results loaded and the trainer's face changed. Grip output, elite heavyweight range. The lobby reacted in pieces. First the trainer, then Gia, then the members who had laughed. Dane stopped smiling. He walks to the bench rack. Grip toys glitch. Iron does not. Good. He had found the next stage himself. What number makes you stop talking? I asked. He loaded plates with performance anger. 440 pounds, the trainer said. Dane, that is not safe for a first test. He wanted premium, Dane said. Premium gets honesty. Gia stepped forward. Dane, stop using him as content. He looked at her hand on my side of the bench and smiled too tightly. I am helping your old friend prove he is real. Jealousy, pretending to be safety. Meredith Bloom walked in during the loading. Of course she did. Dane's mouth tightened. The room had gained a richer witness than he controlled. Meredith looked at the bar, then at me. I came to see whether you had a trainer. This looks like a lawsuit instead. Same industry, I said. Gia laughed again. Dane heard it. That mattered more than the weight. I lay under the bar. The trainer hovered. I can spot. Spot if it drops. Do not help if it moves. Dane leaned over me. You can still walk away. I gripped the bar. You first. The liftoff was heavy enough to make the room honest. For half a second, nobody mocked anything. I lowered the weight to my chest and pressed it back up. Clean. No shake. No scream. Just iron moving because I told it to. Rack! The trainer shouted. I racked it. The bench area exploded. Phones lifted. Members rushed the leaderboard. The trainer slapped the rack like it had insulted physics. Meredith said, interesting, which rich people use when they mean expensive. Gia's hand went to her mouth. Dane stared at the bar like it had cheated on him. The lobby screen updated. Dylan Ward, strength output, top 1%. Then it flickered. Frame mismatch unresolved. Physical proof accepted. Public comparison converted. Dividend issued, $690,000. Dane forced a laugh. One lift. Cute. Gia turned to him. Dane? He grabbed her wrist before she could step toward me. Not hard enough for police. Hard enough for everyone who knew the difference. I sat up. Gia looked at his hand, then at him. Let go. Dane released her like he had meant to all along. Too late. Meredith watched it. The trainer watched it. Half the gym watched it. Gia walked to me instead of him. Can I have your number? The gym went quiet in the most childish, satisfying way possible. Dane's face lost color. I gave it to her, not because I was chasing her. Because Dane had squeezed her wrist in public and expected the room to call it love. She saved the contact, then said softly, I might need advice about leaving something that looks better from the outside. Leashes again. Different material. Same cheap engineering. Dane clapped once. Too loud. Great show. Dylan Ward buys rooms, buys creators, buys strength clips. What is next? Buying a rescue scene? The phrase sat weirdly in the air. Rescue scene. I had heard a version of it before, but memory did not give me the whole shape yet. Meredith told the front desk trainer, send me your premium packages, through whoever does not laugh at customers before the scan. The trainer looked at me like I had changed his commission bracket. That was when jealousy turned from funny to useful, and from useful to dangerous. Dane could not beat the card. He could not beat the lift. So when I saw him outside later, talking to 3 men near the parking lot, I thought he was saving face. I had no idea why that little meeting bothered me until one of those men repeated a line I had heard before. Dane Kroll let me leave Iron Hour clean, with Gia Novak's number in my phone and his gym whispering about the leaderboard glitch. He smiled from his office window like he had accepted the loss. Men like Dane do not accept losses, they file them under later. Before later arrived, Marissa Blythe tried to become soft again. I still have the handkerchief from Summit Tower. Can I return it? Privately? She did not have it. I did. That was the first lie. Jade saw the message and said, do not meet her. Molly, eating cereal from a coffee mug, said, meet her in daylight with witnesses and emotional bug spray. Noelle said, if she says closure, run. Freefall had become a company of traumatized little prophets. I chose a cafe across from our lobby windows, close enough that Jade could glare through glass. Marissa arrived dressed like a second chance. Soft sweater. Careful hair. No Carter. No ring on the hand holding her purse. She placed a small envelope on the table. I cleaned it. The envelope was empty. The real handkerchief was in my jacket pocket. I did not open it. That bothered her. Dylan, I wanted to apologize for Summit Tower. Carter made everything ugly. Carter said the quiet part. You built the room. Her lips pressed together. I put the real handkerchief on the table between us. Her eyes dropped to it. The second lie died without a sound. You brought me an empty envelope, I said. That is almost too honest. Her face flushed. I just needed a reason to see you. You had one. You humiliated me in public and wanted to see if the door was still open. She leaned forward. I was scared. You have to understand what it looked like back then. You were always kind, but you had no direction. Carter had stability. That was her mistake. She thought the new me wanted to audition against the old him. What does Carter have now? I asked. Her eyes flicked away. We are taking space, she said. No. He dropped you in a room he could not afford, and now you are calling it space because abandonment sounds poor. The cafe went quieter. Then her phone buzzed. Then mine. A classmate had posted a screenshot from the street, Marissa sitting across from me. Carter leaves and Marissa remembers Dylan's phone number. Crazy timing. Marissa's face changed. Not because she was exposed to me, because she was exposed to them. Then Carter's name flashed on her screen. She answered too fast, forgetting the cafe was quiet. His voice carried to the next table. Stop tying yourself to him. Opal is already asking why your mess is still touching our name. Do not call me until you remember which side of the room you are on. He hung up. The waiter became fascinated by the coffee machine. Marissa stared at the dead call like it had slapped her in a language she understood. Marissa Blythe, 96%. She whispered, can you ask them to delete the post? They listen to you now. They listened when you streamed pity money too. Her eyes filled. I was trying to help. No, you were trying to look kind while keeping me below you. Then Carter left, and suddenly kindness needed privacy. She reached across the table. Dylan, I did care about you. I just did not know what you would become. There it was, the cleanest confession a social climber can give. Not I loved you, not I was wrong. I did not know what you would become. I slid the handkerchief back to her. That is why you get nothing. You do not miss me. You miss your investment window. Her hand stopped halfway across the table. The regret index hit hard enough to vibrate the wood. Marissa Blythe, 99%? She looked at the handkerchief, then at Jade through the window, then at me. I could have chosen you, she said. It was supposed to sound tender. It landed like a late payment. No. You could have respected me before the receipt. That was the choice. Marissa Blythe, 100%. First complete regret index target confirmed. Passive dividend slot unlocked. For once, I did not move. Even I knew when a moment deserved half a breath. Assign target Marissa Blythe? I tapped yes. Passive dividend slot active. Base conversion issued. $1,100,000. Future status gains linked. My bank app updated a second later. Concrete. Ugly. Real. Marissa saw my face and knew something had landed. What happened? You finally paid for dinner. She pushed back from the table like I had slapped her. I had not. That was the point. I did not need to touch people whose own choices had receipts. Jade entered before Marissa could turn tears into another scene. She did not sit. She stood beside my table, calm and lethal. Marissa, your ride is here. A car waited at the curb. Jade had ordered it without asking me. Loyalty could be bossy and still useful. Marissa looked between us. The jealousy in her face was small, fast, and worth another system twitch. Regret root stabilized. She took the handkerchief. This time it was not a reason to see me again. It was a prop from the scene where she lost the right to pretend she had been early. After she left, Jade asked, "Did you get what you wanted?" "I got what the system wanted." "That is not comforting," she said. "It was not meant to be." Then Gia called. No text, no preamble, voice tight and low. "Dylan, can you meet me outside Iron Hour?" "Not inside. Dane is telling everyone you tricked the scan and that I am embarrassing him by talking to you." Jade mouthed, "Trap. Probably." But Gia had asked in the voice people use when the room they are in has stopped being safe. I went. Not alone. Jade drove, and Molly stayed live from freefall under the excuse of testing equipment. Iron Hour looked normal when I arrived. That is usually how bad scenes dress. Gia stood near the side entrance, arms folded, no gym bag. "Thank you for coming," she said. "Where is Dane?" "Inside," pretending he is not watching. I glanced at the office window. The blinds moved. Gia saw it too and looked ashamed of him, one of the last steps before leaving a man. "He grabbed me again after you left," she said. "Not hard. Just, like he expected my body to remember whose side it was on. Do not hit him for me, that is what he wants. He keeps saying you are dangerous and he is the only reason I used to be safe." Used to be safe? The phrase brushed an old memory but did not open it yet. Then 3 men came around the corner from the parking lot, big enough to be hired, casual enough to pretend they were not. One bumped my shoulder on purpose. Watch it. Textbook. I stepped back instead of forward. He looked annoyed. The second man moved into Gia's space. Pretty girl should pick better friends. Gia stiffened. From the office window, a shadow moved. Dane was watching his own show. I asked the first man, "How much?" He blinked. "What?" "For the scene. How much did Dane pay?" His face twitched. The third man laughed. "Same as last time. Make it look real." Then the hero walks in. The world narrowed. Gia went still. "Say that again," I said. He realized too late that he had said too much. The first man swung. This time, I did not step back. The system had given me strength, but strength without timing is just expensive stupidity. I caught his wrist, turned it down, and drove him to one knee. The second lunged. I shoved the first into him, and both hit a parked car hard enough to set off the alarm. The third reached into his jacket. Gia gasped. I kicked his knee sideways before his hand came out. Not broken, not gentle. He hit the pavement and yelled loud enough for the gym doors to open. Members poured out. So did Dane. Perfectly timed almost. He came running with his phone up, face arranged into concern. "Gia, get behind me!" Then he saw all 3 men already down. The line died in his mouth. Gia turned to him slowly. "Same as last time," she said. Dane stopped. I grabbed the third man's collar and lifted just enough to make his shoes scrape. "Tell her what you meant." He looked at Dane. That look did more than confession. Gia saw it. The front desk trainer saw it. Meredith Bloom, back for her premium package meeting, walked out behind the crowd and saw it too. Side Chaos loves witnesses with money. The third man swallowed. He said, "Scare her, make the guy swing, same play as college, that is all." Gia's face went white. Mine probably did too. College, a parking lot behind a campus bar, Gia crying. Dane appearing at the perfect second, me across the street, broke and useless, watching everyone praise him for rescuing her from danger he had maybe rented. I could not prove the old one from memory alone. I did not need to. The present had just said the quiet part in front of her. Dane lifted both hands. "Gia, he is lying. Dylan paid him to say that." Meredith laughed once. "Not kind." "That is your defense? The man who just lost your gym clients also hired your thugs to frame you?" Another member near the door said, "Was that the guy from the old story?" Gia turned toward him. "What old story?" The member went pale and looked at Dane. That little panic told Gia the gym had been carrying a rumor she was never allowed to hear. Dane's voice came out flat. "Everyone shut up. No one did." Meredith told the front desk trainer. "Cancel my package meeting. I do not invest in gyms that rent villains for romance." Dane flinched. Money leaving hurts men like him faster than shame arriving. Gia stepped away from him. He reached for her. "Do it on camera," I said. "Please." Every phone in the lot tilted toward his hand. Dane let it fall. Fake hero script exposed. Public physical threat reversed. Dividend issued, $880,000. Regret-linked strength boost stabilized. Sirens came from down the road. Somebody had called after the car alarm. When the first officer asked who owned the property, Gia answered before Dane could open his mouth. "He does," she said, pointing, "and those men just said he paid them to scare me." Dane looked at her like betrayal only counted when it happened to him. Meredith turned to the crowd. "Anyone who recorded that phrase should keep it. Men like this survive on missing audio." 3 phones lifted higher. Dane watched his own members become witnesses instead of audience, and his gym stopped feeling like his kingdom. Inside, the front desk trainer killed the lobby screen that had replayed Dane's promo clips all week. One button. For a man like Dane, a slap with a power cord. That was the payoff. The fight was just the sound it made when fake rescue met bad timing. Gia walked to Jade's car instead of Dane's. Jade unlocked the back door without asking me. Another useful habit. Dane watched Gia sit inside. His face did not break the way Marissa's had. It hardened. He was not finished. But his next move would not be the only new problem. Because while the police lights washed over Iron Hour's glass doors, my phone buzzed with a Halo Stream alert tied to Marissa Blythe's public profile. That made no sense. Marissa was not a creator. She was not even worth attacking. I opened it. 5 blank donor accounts had tipped her profile in exact intervals. Same amount, same timing. 1 repeated phrase from different accounts. "You deserve better attention." The donations were not huge. That was what made them worse. They moved like test taps, like someone checking a rule. The Freedom Dividend system pulsed once, then did something it had never done before. No cash, no reward, only a warning. External pattern detected. Source unknown. I looked at the downed thugs, at Gia in Jade's back seat, at Dane pretending not to panic while his old script bled in public. I thought Dane's thugs were the last cheap script I had to break. Then the donations started moving like they were following a rule I had not written. The donations on Marissa Blythe's profile did not get bigger. That was what made them feel wrong. 5 blank accounts tipped her in exact intervals, small amounts, same phrase, same timing, like somebody was tapping a locked door to hear what lived inside. You deserve better attention. The first time, Marissa ignored it. The second time, she texted me. By the 5th, she was standing in Free Fall's lobby wearing sunglasses indoors and looking like regret had developed a subscriber base. Make it stop, she said. Molly frowned at her phone. These accounts were made today. Same badge pattern, same empty profile. That is either a bot farm or a cult with terrible branding. Jade looked over her shoulder. Not Mavencast's usual bots. The timing is too clean. Craig's people faked attention like children filling a balloon until it squeaked. This was clean, measured, patient. Then all 5 accounts tipped again at the exact same second. The badge flashed across Marissa's profile in a synchronized burst, and Noelle's live preview froze. My phone went cold in my palm. External pattern active. Source still unknown. No reward, no instruction, just the system acting like something had walked too close to the fence. Marissa stepped toward me. Is that about me? Unfortunately, a lot of things are about you lately. She flinched, but did not leave, scared enough to tolerate honesty. Then a man shoved through the glass door and bumped Marissa hard enough to knock her sunglasses onto the floor. Watch where you stand, he said. Textbook. Gia's parking lot had taught me the shape of cheap theater. Marissa backed away. I did not touch you. The man stepped closer. Girls like you always think a rich guy will save them. His eyes flicked past her shoulder. Not to me. To the street. A black car had stopped at the curb. A man in a gray coat stepped out, wearing the calm rich men use when they expect a room to thank them before they speak. Jade muttered. Rafe Callan, Halo Stream donor, private table type. He started circling Luna after Mavencast's first loss. Good, a name attached to the smell. Rafe walked in as the stranger raised his hand toward Marissa. Enough, Rafe said. Perfect timing, too perfect. The stranger froze like an actor waiting for the next line. Rafe put himself between Marissa and the man, then looked at me over his shoulder. Dylan Ward? You let women you humiliate get harassed in your own lobby? Molly whispered. Oh, I hate him already. Very efficient. Rafe pulled out a money clip. Take this and leave her alone. The stranger glanced at the cash, then said the dumbest useful sentence of the week. That is not what you said outside. You said I got more if she screamed. The lobby went silent. For one beautiful second, Rafe's calm slipped. I grabbed the back of the stranger's jacket and pulled him away from Marissa. Not hard enough to make him heroic, just enough to make him ridiculous. Finish the line, I said. Let go. You wanted a rescue scene. Commit to the craft. Molly's phone was already up. Noelle stood behind her, live preview open, waiting for my nod. I gave it. The lobby went live. Rafe saw the red light and smiled again, but now it took effort. Dylan, you seem unstable. I only stepped in because she looked frightened. Marissa moved beside me. Not behind Rafe, beside me. Small move, big damage. I am frightened, she said, voice shaking but clear. Because somebody keeps sending me fake attention and then sends a fake hero to collect it. Rafe looked at her like a vending machine had refused money. Regret-linked target resisted external influence. Passive route protected. Dividend issued. $240,000. I did not check the bank. The room was paying better. The stranger pulled free. I am done. He did not pay enough for this. Molly's chat ate that line whole. Rafe dropped the money clip back into his coat. You think exposure is victory. That is why you are still small. Attention is the only real currency in this business. Then every blank account on Marissa's profile tipped again. Same second, same badge, same phrase. This time the badge flash echoed across 3 free-fall creator feeds, then vanished like a blink. Noelle said, that is not a normal pledge badge. Rafe looked at her too fast. A clue, a reaction, a name. Still not enough to call it a system. Enough to know he was not just a donor with a nice coat. He recovered by going generous. Rich men love generosity after the mask slips. He held a slim sponsor card out to Marissa. No logo, just his name stamped in silver. I can clean this up. Front page placement, reputation shield, private donor protection. You do not have to be Dylan Ward's public regret forever. Marissa stared at the card. For 1 second, the lobby watched the old version of her wake-up. The version that heard richer and reached automatically. Then her eyes moved to the live chat, where my old classmates were typing like vultures with Wi-Fi. Take the gentleman. Upgrade again, Marissa. That last one hit her face like cold water. She stepped back. No, I already traded respect for status once. I am not doing the sequel for a man with better packaging, Molly whispered. Okay, annoying growth arc, I see you. Rafe's fingers stayed extended with the card nobody took. Small humiliation. Useful, arrogant people overcorrect. He slid it away and looked at me. You train them to perform refusal for you. No, I just stand near people who finally learned what a leash smells like. Before he could answer, Jade's phone screamed with a Halo Stream priority challenge. Luna Arden challenges Scarlet Vega. Major PKS rank qualifier terms. Scarlet had chosen that exact morning to accept her freefall audition. She walked out from the back room in a borrowed blazer, saw Luna's name, and went still. Scarlet was a wallet tester with a sponsor scandal and a reputation half the platform wanted to spit on. Luna was polished, ranked, and cruel enough to turn pity into jewelry. Rafe smiled again. So the fake rescue was not the whole trap. It was the opener. Luna appeared in the challenge preview, silver dress, Mavencast logo behind her. Scarlet Vega, Freefall is calling you a redemption story. I call that rebranding trash. If you lose, pin an apology saying Dylan Ward buys damaged women and calls it loyalty. Scarlet's face hardened. Jade said, decline it. This is not an audition anymore. Scarlet looked at me. No flirting, no smirk. If I decline, do I still get the audition? Better question than pride. Yes. Her shoulders dropped half an inch. Then she looked at Luna's preview again. Then I accept because I want to, not because I have to. Voluntary risk recognized. B rank creator audition active. Scarlet saw the word B rank before I locked the screen. B rank? Earn the alphabet. She laughed once, sharp and ugly, and hit accept. The PK opened with Scarlet in our lobby and Luna on a studio throne. Rafe stood near the glass wall, close enough for the stream to catch him, far enough to pretend he was not part of it. That lasted 14 seconds. Luna's score jumped. Pledge badges burst across her side in synchronized little storms. Not rockets first. Badges. Same clean pulse, Molly hissed. There! Again, Jade whispered. Dylan, do not spend yet. She was right. If I buried Luna in rockets too early, the story became Dylan buys another woman a win. Scarlet needed pain that belonged to her, or the victory would smell like my wallet. Luna smiled through the screen. Scarlet, you used to test men with fake bills. Now you are the bill. The chat laughed. Scarlet's score barely moved. Her hand trembled. Then she looked directly into the camera. Yeah. I was trashy. I set traps. I thought if a man could not afford humiliation, he deserved it. Then I met richer trash and realized I had been copying them. The lobby went quiet. Luna's smile thinned. So no, Scarlet went on, I am not Freefall's redemption story. I am Freefall's warning label. If Mavencast sends you a stage, check who built the trap door. The chat shifted. Not enough to win. Enough to stop laughing. That was when I opened donor mode. I sent the first wave of rockets. Her score climbed. Luna answered with a bigger wave, from Rafe's top donor badge. The screen flashed his name. Rafe Callan pledged. He wanted everyone to see he could split a room with his thumb. I let him enjoy one round. Then I sent another wave. Scarlet caught up. Rafe answered. The badges around Luna flared in that same synchronized burst. Then one failed. Tiny thing. One badge blinked red before it vanished. Rafe's face tightened. Luna noticed. So did I. The question finally had teeth. Could he outspend me, or was his attention machine tied to rules he could not say out loud? I bought rockets until Scarlet passed Luna. Rafe pressed his phone harder, like pressure counted. Luna's side surged again, uneven now. His forehead shone. He whispered something into his phone and his face answered for it. Panic. I sent the final wave with 10 seconds left. The timer hit 0. Scarlet won. Molly screamed, Noelle jumped, and Jade let out one breath that sounded like a curse and a prayer fighting. Scarlet looked at the screen, then at me. I shook my head once. She looked back to the camera. I won because I stopped lying about what I was. Try it sometime. Luna did not rage. That made her more dangerous. She looked past Scarlet, straight at Rafe behind the glass. You told me, dominance never hesitates. Rafe's smile was gone. Luna, do not embarrass yourself over one scoreboard. She laughed. Not amused, awake. I just watched you sweat over pledge badges. The chat caught that too. Rafe stepped out of the camera angle, but the damage followed him. Rival pressure resisted. Scarlet Vega upgraded. S-rank creator candidate. Dividend issued. $1,900,000. Scarlet saw the word S-rank and put one hand over her mouth. No joke came out. That was how I knew the reward landed. Then she looked at Jade. Candidate means I can still lose it. Yes, Jade said. Scarlet smiled. Not the old wallet test smile. Perfect. If it can be lost, it is mine to keep. Rafe watched Freefall celebrate a conditional reward like he had never seen status feel stronger because it was not guaranteed. He bought attention. Freefall had just made Scarlet want standards. Then Luna did the thing Craig Hollis should have feared most. She looked into her own live and said, Mavencast, I quit. Molly whispered. Oh, Craig is chewing furniture right now. Almost right, Craig called before her live even ended. Luna answered on speaker. Do not make a career-ending statement because a wallet tester got lucky. You walk out, you owe Mavencast everything. Luna looked into the camera instead of the phone. Everything? You mean the bot pushes, the penalty threats, or the donors who sweat when women do not smile back? Rafe's head lifted. Craig snapped. You are under contract. Jade stepped beside me, loud enough for Luna's feed to catch. Then send a lawful number, not a tantrum. Mavencast knows the difference now. That hit Craig where the buyout still hurt. Luna ended the call. Then she told her viewers, if Mavencast wants to prove I am property, they can do it at the gala with witnesses. The chat froze, then detonated. She sent one message to Freefall's public account, and Jade read it aloud. Civic Heritage Gala. Tomorrow night. If Dylan Ward is a boss, he can prove it where money has consequences. If he is just another donor with a pretty scoreboard, I will know. Scarlet had won. Rafe's mask had cracked. Luna had quit Mavencast, and the next stage had richer lights than Glasshouse Club, sharper knives than Summit Tower, and a woman smart enough not to crawl just because she lost. Luna Arden's gala invitation was not a peace offering. It was a public trap with better lighting. By noon, every creator room on Halo Stream was repeating her line, if I was a boss, I would prove it where money had consequences. Craig loved it. Mavencast accounts clipped Luna's challenge with captions about reckless spending, fake charity, and fired employees pretending to be philanthropists. Rafe loved it more. His blank pledge badges stopped hitting Marissa's profile and started appearing under gala posts. Same timing. Same synchronized flash. Same rule I could see but not name yet. Jade watched the badges stack. He wants the gala to feel like his room before you enter it. Then he should have bought the building. Molly looked up. Do not say that near a system. Fair. The Civic Heritage Gala was a ballroom full of polished donors, hospital trustees, creator sponsors, and people who smiled like they knew what forks cost. I walked in with Jade on my left and Scarlet on my right. Molly and Noelle filmed short clips behind us. Jade had banned surprise live streams around donors with lawyers. At registration, a staff member looked at my name, and a seating coordinator whispered to him. His face turned into the polite pain of a man about to deliver a deliberate insult. Mr. Ward, Mavencast's table has requested creator-adjacent seating for Freefall. Side section, media access lane. Creator, adjacent. Gala language for visible enough to mock, not close enough to matter. Craig had not even reached me yet, and had already tried to seat Freefall at the children's table with better shoes. Who authorized the move? I asked. The coordinator glanced toward Craig's table. Useful answer. Before I could decide whether to buy the table, April Venn stepped out from the Baycrest Estates table, tablet to her chest. Mr. Ward is verified as Baycrest Estates owner level. Executive priority profile. Owner level guests are seated with principal donors unless they request otherwise. Mr. Ward has not requested otherwise. The registration staff's mouth closed. A new card printed, front section, center aisle. Same sightline as Opal's table. Craig saw the new card from across the ballroom. His smile twitched before he could pin it back on. Rooms like that read face muscles for sport. One man behind Craig quietly moved his wineglass off Craig's table marker. Tiny retreat. Real signal. Scarlet leaned toward Molly. Creator adjacent got evicted, Molly whispered. It died doing what it hated, being useful. A good employee I had protected in a sales office had become a credibility bridge in a room where old money liked proof with embossed corners. Prior fair treatment route validated, status bridge active. No cash. Better. Opal Hawthorne stood near the front tables. When she saw April speak for me, she lifted her glass just enough to say she had chosen not to pretend we were strangers. Carter was not with her. Excellent taste. Then Craig appeared. Black suit, forced smile, the bruised dignity of a man whose company kept losing in rooms he thought he owned. Rafe stood beside him, calm again, with Luna a few steps away. Not beside Rafe, not beside Craig. A few steps away mattered. Rafe tried to erase that distance before I reached them. He offered Luna a folded card, like the one Marissa had refused. Private protection. I can clear whatever Mavencast claims you owe tonight. No public mess. Luna looked at the card, then at the stage. No private room, no private payout. If anybody wants to buy my work, they can call it work in front of people with money and memory. She left the card in his hand. That little refusal had no applause. It still changed the room. Luna was not asking to be rescued. She was setting conditions before anyone could pretend gratitude was consent. Craig walked over with two Mavencast board allies wearing donor badges. Dylan, try not to turn charity into another bottle service stunt. Craig, you turned employee of use into a business model. Do not lecture me on charity. One of the board allies blinked. Rafe smiled. Public insults are easy. Public purpose is harder. He said it for Luna. She did not reward him with a glance. The first auction lot opened with polished language about the Ridgefield community wing. Dr. Marin Field stood near the stage with the posture of someone who hated gala speeches but liked funded beds. Harborline had almost moved my mother into overflow because a corrupt doctor priced her bed. Now the same wound was dressed in flowers and donor cards. Rafe's paddle rose first. 200,000. He looked at Luna after the bid, long enough to make sure the room saw where the gift was aimed. Attention as currency. He had said it himself. I lifted mine. 500,000. Rafe answered before the applause settled. 1 million. Craig leaned toward a bored ally, too loudly. Watch, he will chase the woman, not the cause. There was the trap. They wanted me bidding like a drunk whale in a tuxedo, every dollar a mating display. So I asked for the microphone. The host froze. Opal looked amused. Craig looked delighted because he thought I was about to explain myself to death. Bad prediction. I looked at Dr. Fields first. When my mother almost lost her bed, the problem was not one bill. It was that the wrong person could decide poor patients were movable, so I am not bidding on a plaque. I am pledging $5 million to the Ridgefield Community Wing, conditioned on protected bed access reporting and patient transfer oversight. The room did not clap immediately. Good. They had to process that the bid had teeth. Then Dr. Fields said, Harborline Hospital accepts the pledge. Now the room clapped, the kind of clapping that makes people turn to see who clapped first. Craig's face curdled. His bored allies stopped smiling. Rafe raised his paddle. 6 million. He looked at Luna. Still nothing. I handed the mic back. 7. Same conditions. No name on the wing. Put the donor list in the patient lobby, not my face. That did more damage than another million. Opal clapped once, and the Hawthorne table followed. April smiled so hard she forgot to hide it. Rafe raised his paddle, then stopped. The synchronized badge flash hit the gala's public Halo stream tag at that exact second. 5 pledge icons. 10, 20. All empty accounts, all bursting together like a nervous tick, external pressure escalating. Maintain public choice. Rafe's hand shook. Tiny. Visible. Luna saw it. He lifted the paddle anyway. 8 million. His voice stayed smooth. His eyes did not. I did not answer with 9. I looked at Luna. Your turn. The room shifted. Her eyebrow lifted. My turn? You challenged me to prove whether I was a boss or a donor. Bosses do not buy talent in corners. Name your terms where everyone can hear them. Craig's head snapped toward her. Luna, do not. She cut him off without looking. You lost the right to command me when Mavencast let Rafe sweat through a scoreboard and called it strategy. The board allies heard that. Luna stepped onto the stage like the building had invited her and took the microphone. No private payout. No hidden donor contract. No personal obligation. If Freefall wants me, I sign as an S-rank creator with performance terms, independent sponsor review, and public revenue split. If Dylan tries to turn me into a trophy, I walk and keep the clip. Scarlett whispered. I hate how much I respect her. Growth hurts, I said. Luna looked at me from the stage. Can you put that on paper before the room gets bored? Jade already had the contract on the gala tablet. That was why buying her freedom had been worth more than rockets. She turned paperwork into a weapon before it could become drag. The terms hit the side screen. Craig whispered, This is theft. Jade said, No. Theft was making creators apologize for losing rigged PKs. This is consent with better lighting. Luna signed with one finger on the tablet. The ballroom reacted in layers. Creator sponsors leaned forward. Hospital donors murmured. Craig's bored allies looked at each other the way men do before deciding who gets blamed. Rafe stepped toward the stage. Luna, think. I can double his offer privately. You do not have to chain yourself to a revenge startup. Luna looked down at him. That is not an offer. That is a leash with cologne. Scarlett made a small wounded sound of admiration. Rafe's face finally broke. Not fully. Enough. You are making the wrong choice. Luna smiled without warmth. Then stop trying to purchase the right one. The synchronized badges flashed again under the gala tag. This time, half of them failed red. Rafe looked at his phone and whispered, Why is it not counting? Not loud. Loud enough for Luna. Loud enough for me. Loud enough for the nearest donor to turn. External rule conflict detected. Confirmation pending. Still no name. But the shape was almost visible. Rafe's money did not only want to be spent, it wanted the woman to accept the story attached to it. Luna had refused the story in public. That cost him something. The host recovered by announcing my $7 million pledge as accepted, and Luna Arden's S-rank freefall signing as witnessed. The applause hit harder than rockets because Craig could not claim a hacked scoreboard in a ballroom full of donors. A sponsor leaned toward Jade. Those S-rank terms, are they standard for freefall? They are becoming standard. The sponsor's assistant made a note. Craig saw the note, a small cut, but it bled in the exact place he needed sealed. The gala was no longer asking whether I had money. It was asking whether Freefall had terms creators could repeat without shame. Opal walked to my table during the applause. The Hawthorne table will cover the administrative build-out costs for Ridgefield Community Wing, no naming rights. Consider it an apology with receipts. I held her stare. Accepted. Do not make me regret politeness. I would not dare. Useful ally. Dangerous ally. Still useful. Craig watched the wall build around me. That was why he got desperate. He moved to the stage before the host could close the lot. If Freefall is so clean, then prove it live. Tomorrow night, Halo Stream Championship stage, Mavencast vs Freefall, full creator slate, public sponsor feed, bot audit, contract audit, donor transparency. Molly muttered, he said audit like it was a weapon and not a confession. Craig pointed at me. You win! I stop calling you a fraud. You lose, every creator you bought admits, Freefall is a revenge stunt built on dirty money. Rafe smiled again, but now it looked stitched on. He needed one more stage too. Luna came down from the platform and stood beside Scarlet, not beside Mavencast. That image hurt Craig more than my pledge. Behind him, one bored ally had already stepped away from his table. The other would not meet his eyes. He had overcommitted in public because he thought public pressure still belonged to him. I picked up the microphone. Tomorrow. But use the big scoreboard. I am tired of beating Mavencast in rooms that are too small for its excuses. The gala loved that. Craig did not. Final public challenge accepted. Title pressure active. No cash again, just a door to the last room. The auction had paid. Luna had signed. Rafe had cracked. Craig's allies were drifting out of his shadow. So he opened the one stage big enough to destroy himself on. Craig Hollis called it the Halo Stream Championship because men like Craig love official words when they are about to cheat. By morning, Mavencast had turned the final match into a public trial. Their teaser accused Freefall of dirty money, fake donations, creator poaching, bot manipulation, and my personal favorite, emotional fraud. Molly read that one aloud and said, I cannot believe they found a legal term for being hot and annoying. Jade did not laugh. She was looking at the roster. Mavencast had stacked every creator it still had and every contract thread it could dress as policy. Craig needed one public win to keep his job. Rafe needed one woman in the room to accept his money like worship. Both needed Freefall to look fake before the scoreboard closed. That made the rule simple. We could not only spend, we had to make everyone choose. The championship stage was a Halo Stream arena built for humiliation, giant scoreboards, split feeds, live sponsor chat, and a central camera that made every flinch look like testimony. Linda Ward watched from Harborline on a tablet, sitting up in protected care with Paul beside her. That was the only audience that scared me. When she saw the stage lights, she touched the screen and said, Is that where Dylan works now? Paul texted me the line. I stared at it 1 second too long. Jade snapped. Dylan! Right. Feelings later. War now. Craig walked onto the opposite platform with Rafe at his side and a Mavencast board representative behind him, a man who had already picked a scapegoat. Luna and Scarlet stood with Freefall. Molly, Noelle, Jade, and the rookies stood behind them. That image alone made the sponsor chat twitch. Craig grabbed the opening microphone. Tonight is simple. Freefall claims it is fair. We will see if its creators can win without Dylan Ward buying affection. Rafe looked at Luna when Craig said affection. She did not look back. The first round was Molly. Mavencast paired her against a polished creator and replayed her old fake growth graph on the big screen. Craig thought shame would push her back into silence. Molly took the mic instead. Yes, Mavencast padded my numbers, let me thank fake people, and then used my embarrassment as content. Tonight I am not apologizing for being lied to, I am charging them for the clip. The audience laughed first. Then they cheered. The scoreboard opened. Mavencast's side jumped in an ugly burst. Bot-looking accounts, same profile rhythm, dead comments. Molly pointed at the screen. Oh look, my old fans came to visit, none of them learned punctuation. The chat turned vicious in her favor. I did not spend. Molly's real audience moved on its own. Small gifts, then bigger, then a wave of creators who had left Mavencast sending support with their names visible. Molly won by less than Jade would have liked and more than Craig could survive. First refusal. Molly refused fake followers. The crowd rewarded the real ones. Active refusal logged. Alliance value increased. Round 2 put Noelle against the creator who had fitted the clown filter around her face. The filter appeared again in the preview. Noelle looked at it, then smiled. That worried her opponent more than tears would have. Last time I was afraid my parents would see me lose. They did. Then they saw Freefall pay me on time. My dad asked if Mavencast knew how direct deposit works. Even the sponsor chat laughed. Her opponent tried to recover. You are only here because Dylan bought you. Noelle lifted her phone toward the camera. Dylan offered to pay me if I walked away scared. I stayed after the filter. That is not being bought. That is being given a choice. Mavencast never offered. Second refusal. Noelle refused the apology script. This time I sent rockets. After her line had moved the room, money followed choice. It did not replace it. Noelle won by a landslide. Then Mavencast tried a human shield before Scarlett's round. They played Marissa's Summit Tower clip, the wine dab, the fake soft smile, and a host said, Dylan Ward built freefall by emotionally targeting humiliated women. Marissa Blythe declined to appear tonight, but her story speaks for itself. Bad move. Marissa's story had learned to type. Her verified profile posted under the live replay while the clip was still running. Do not use me as proof. I chased status, lost it, and tried to trade back up. Dylan did not target me. I targeted him too late. The arena read it in real time. Molly covered her mouth. I hate when character development has timing. The host's smile died on camera. Marissa was not forgiven. That was not the point. She refused to become Mavencast's victim prop. Another old script lost a speaker. Round 3 was Scarlett. Mavencast went for the throat, Glasshouse Club clips, the Lance Lounge disaster, old comments calling her a wallet tester. Scarlett watched all of it on the big screen. Then she stepped forward. Every clip is real, she said. The arena quieted. I tested men by money, she went on, because I thought money was the only honest thing in the room. Then Lance used me, Mavencast used me, and I watched Dylan defend me without letting me turn gratitude into another trap. So yes, I was ugly. That is why I know exactly what Mavencast is doing tonight. She looked at Craig. And I am not doing it for you anymore. Third refusal. Scarlett refused the trap script. Her score climbed before I touched a button. Then Rafe moved. His pledge badges flooded every female Mavencast feed in a synchronized sweep. The arena screen stuttered under the pattern. My phone went ice cold. External system proximity confirmed. I sent one rocket wave. His badges answered. I sent another. Half his badges failed red. His hand shook. Scarlett looked straight into the camera. Rafe, if your money needs women to adore you before it works, that sounds less like power and more like begging with a budget. The arena reacted like she had slapped him. Then my phone displayed the name. External system identified, Adoration Tycoon System, conflict rule, purchased attention rejected by target consent. There it was. Not a theory, a second system wearing a rich man's face. She is supposed to respond, Rafe snapped. The mic near his collar caught it. Luna turned toward him slowly. Craig hissed, Rafe, shut up! Too late. Scarlett won the round while Rafe was still staring at his phone like betrayal could be debugged. Then came Luna. Craig spoke first. Mistake. Luna Arden walked away from the company that made her. Tonight she can apologize for letting a revenge spender turn her head. Luna took the mic and smiled. Mavencast made my contract. I made my audience. Learn the difference before your next company. Rafe stepped forward. Luna, final offer. I will triple your freefall contract tonight. No performance conditions. Just say you chose wrong. Luna looked at him with open disgust. You still think refusal is a negotiation tactic. It is not. It is the door closing. Fourth refusal. Luna refused purchased adoration. Rafe's badge storm collapsed across the board. Red failures. Empty accounts. Frozen pledges. Adoration conflict failure. Rival system destabilized. Rafe staggered one step. Something inside his rules had bitten him. He looked at me, the rich polish gone. What are you? I smiled. Free. Petty line. True enough, Luna won her round. Jade's round came last because Craig wanted his original leash to close the show. He played old clips of her under Mavencast, cut to make her look ungrateful, then said into the central mic, Jade, tell the audience who billed you! For 1 second, I saw the airport, the conference room, the pen scratching through her old contract. Then she turned to the audience. Craig built a leash. I built everything worth watching while wearing it. Fifth refusal. Jade refused the creator-owner lie. The scoreboard opened. Mavencast dumped everything it had left. Bots, old donors, sponsor boosts, pressure accounts, the whole dirty engine. For 30 seconds, they led. Craig's smile came back too early. Mistake. I opened donor mode. Not private this time. My name hit the board. Dylan Ward supports Freefall Media. Public Creator Fund unlocked. The Freedom Dividend system poured across my phone. Final title condition, active, costly freedom chosen by allies, dividend multiplier unlocked. The number under it was obscene. I did not read it twice. I spent once, and the scoreboard jumped. I spent again, and Mavencast's lead vanished. Then the Creator Fund line appeared on every freefall feed, transparent splits, an emergency support pool, and exit protection funded from the championship winnings. Not romance, not obedience. A structure. Creators in Mavencast's own chat started asking why their contracts did not have the same terms. One Mavencast creator on the bench took off her logo jacket and set it on the floor. Then another. Then a sponsor feed cut away from Mavencast's panel and switched to the freefall score. That was the collapse. Not one big explosion. A dozen small loyalties leaving at once. Jade overtook the Mavencast final score with 12 seconds left. Craig stood up, shouting at the board representative, at the tech table, at nobody useful. Rafe kept trying to send pledges to Luna's feed, Scarlett's feed, anyone who might turn toward him and make his money count. Every failed badge came back red. Luna crossed the stage, took Scarlett's hand, and lifted it. Scarlett pulled Molly and Noelle forward. Jade stepped beside them. The camera caught all 5 women standing under the freefall score, while Mavencast's side flickered with dead badges. The timer hit 0. Free fall 1. The arena did not cheer at first. It recalculated. Then it erupted. Macro promise fulfilled. Freedom dividend system, final revenge dividend issued. Mavencast authority collapsed. Rival system neutralized. Family community route completed. The board representative took Craig's badge from him on camera. Craig actually grabbed at it the same way Dr. Kramer had grabbed for his hospital badge. Fake authority always reaches for the little plastic symbol after the real power is gone. This is temporary, Craig said. Your authority is terminated pending formal removal, the board representative answered, into a live mic. Step off the stage. Craig Hollis, who had fired me over my mother's hospital bed, got fired in front of the company he had used like a cage. He looked at me once. I did not wave. I am petty, not wasteful. Rafe lasted another minute. He stared at his phone while red failures stacked over each other. Then he laughed once, hollow and ugly. Attention always converts. That is the rule. It always converts. Luna stepped to the edge of the stage. Not when the woman says no. Rafe's phone went dark. So did the last synchronized badges. The Adoration Tycoon system did not explode. It just stopped answering him in the one room where he needed it most. He had built himself on purchased attention, and the women he targeted refused to become receipts. The system ate its own logic. After the stream, the consequences came faster than explanations. At Freefall's public opening, Jade put them on the lobby wall feed. Mavencast sponsors pulled from the live slate. Creators requesting Freefall terms before leaving the building. Molly's bot scandal now. Mavencast's liability instead of her shame. Scarlett's S-rank path. Luna's public contract holding. Then Noelle's parents messaged Freefall's main account. Pay her on time and we are fans forever. Jade printed it and taped it to the coffee machine like scripture. Hector's message ran across the feed like a sports score. Brandon Gage is not on the road crew list, he noticed. The feed cut to Brandon watching the Ridgefield Community Wing announcement on a job site phone, his face tight while workers pretended not to look at him. Good. Next came Marissa's post under the championship replay. I treated poverty like a flaw. I was wrong. No apology tag, no handkerchief picture, no attempt to claim me. For Marissa, that counted as growth and public humiliation at the same time. Last came Gia's photo from outside Iron Hour Fitness. Dane's name had been pulled from the lobby promo screen while members watched. She wrote, "He does not get to be the hero of my story anymore." Useful ending. No kiss needed. By then, the cardboard box sat on a lobby shelf under the first dollar from the Summit Tower pity pool. Molly wanted a caption, "Historic trash relic." Jade vetoed it, then secretly approved a smaller plaque. My mother moved slowly after she came through the front doors, but she walked. That mattered more than every scoreboard in the building. She touched the glass wall facing Mavencast's old floor. "This is yours?" I looked at Jade arguing with Luna about lighting, Scarlett teaching Noelle how not to read hate comments, Molly filming April's tour, and creators sitting in chairs we actually owned. "No," I said. "It is ours. I just paid the entry fee and humiliation." My mother did not understand the system. Good. She did not need to. The freedom dividend system pulsed one last time in my pocket. I opened it away from the cameras. Title route closed. Freedom condition fulfilled. New mode available. Freedom without revenge. For a second, the old hunger wanted to tap it. New rules, new enemies, new ways to make people regret underestimating me. Then Paul called my name because Linda wanted a picture by the freefall sign. I locked the phone. The system could wait. For once, nobody in the room needed me to crawl, prove, explain, or buy their respect before they treated me like I belonged there. That was the final dividend. I put the phone in my pocket and walked into the picture.